Welcome, everyone, here in this early evening matchup at Red Wilson Field. I'm Robert Marcello alongside, not the sideline reporter, but the scout liaison, David Mandelberg. How are you today, David?
I am good, Rob. How are you doing on this overcast day?
I'm pretty good. It's late in the season, a important matchup for the Harbor Hawks, still trying to find themselves where they're going to play in the first round of the playoffs, if they're going to be at home or on the road. My first question I want to ask you, David, is how important is it today for the Harbor Hawks playing a team in the YD Red Sox who more than likely will be representing the East in the championship game or will go pretty far in the playoffs? How big of a measuring stick is this for the Harbor Hawks to see what kind of team they have?
I mean, I think it's a pretty good measuring stick when you're looking at it. This is the team that will, as you said, most definitely be representing the East and has the best record, and for a good reason. They're a great ball club. So if the Harbor Hawks can make this a close game and win, or even a close game, that will be a good sense of how we're going to feel when we go into the playoffs.
Now, this late in the season, everyone's starting just to get a little tired. How are you feeling at this point of the year?
Well, I drove our photographer/writer, Brady, to the airport this morning, Rob, so I am very tired. I may not sound it, but let me tell you, folks, this is my tired voice.
Very well, David. And then the last question I just want to ask you is about some of the roster turnover and how sometimes those kind of things can positively or negatively impact team, and how do you think, well, obviously last night with all the roster turnovers been happening, the Harbor Hawks have won 2 in a row.
I mean, I think these guys are on their way to being professionals. They know how to go with a fluid situation. They've played in different leagues throughout their lives, so they've been used to the new guys, the old guys, being able to mix and match those relationships. And I don't think it's going to be as much of a distraction. I think that they can go forward with this new roster, barring any change, and even if there is change, and they can go and play like they usually do.
Well, thanks, David. We're going to let you go back to your acting duties, and as well,
I feel so honored
as you continue your scout liaison duties. Well, thank you for joining the pregame show. I'm going to send it to a quick break, and right back, we're going to go some around the league scores here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media.
Welcome back to things here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Robert Marcello. Quickly to go around some league scores. In the bottom of the first, the Harwich Mariners are on the road heading off against the Brewster Whitecaps. It is 0-0. The start here coming in about less than 10 minutes from Red Wilson Field between the Harbor Hawks and the YD Red Sox. At 6 o'clock, the Katuitt Kettleers are on the road against the Falmouth Commodores. That game will start at 6. At 6:30, the Bourne Braves will face off against the Wareham Gatemen, who are currently a couple points ahead of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. And then the late night cap at 7 o'clock, the Orleans Firebirds head off against the Chatham Anglers. That's going to do things here on the pregame show. I'm Robert Marcello. After a couple minutes break, I'll bring you to the call with Chris, Lucey, and Lyle Goldstein. Thank you for everyone listening.
Magic Works Media copyright. Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
In combination with the Hyannis Harborhawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harborhawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Time for lineups and first pitch on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
For one last time in the Cape Cod Collegiate regular season, the Hyannis Harborhawks hit the road. Your Harborhawks coming in at a record of 26-11-3, or 23-11-3, excuse me, take on the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox today at 26-11-3 out here at Red Wilson Field. Good afternoon, everybody. Along with Lyle Goldstein, I'm Chris Lucey, and the Harborhawks hit the road today against a Yarmouth-Dennis ball club that is impeccable at home, a 14-4-3 record here at Red Wilson Field, while the Harborhawks are 8-10-2 overall on the road. And Lyle, not a great sign for the Harborhawks coming in against a pitcher who's been as dominant this year as Chandler Fidel has been for YD.
Yeah, I mean, Fidel's been really good all season. He's only making his second start, but he's 2-0 with a 2.81 ERA. He's got 24 strikeouts in 16 innings. He's had a strikeout in all but one appearance this season, dating all the way back to June 14th, and he's been pretty effective. So we'll see if they try to use him in some sort of duration today and leg out his starter, if they kind of just staff the bullpen in today's contest.
The sophomore from the University of Arkansas at Little Rock faces off against Davis Wenzel to start this game. Davis followed up by Tommy Jew, the shortstop, the center fielder out of UCSB. Matthew Barefoot in the 3 spot, the left fielder out of Campbell. Now the Baylor Bear at the right side of the plate, and the first pitch from the lefty. Call it a strike over the outer half of the dish, and we're underway. 0-1 the count on Davis Wenzel. Going through the rest of the lineup, Todd Lott out of UL Lafayette is DHing in the 4 spot. Now the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball for a strike over that outer half. Count now 0-2 on Davis. He's batting .250 on the season. 152 at-bats to lead the Hyannis Ball Club. He has 38 hits. Now the 0-2 from Fidel. First ball of the evening. High and outside. Seth Gray's in the 5 spot out of Wright State. He's playing third base. Pedro Pages in the 6 spot, playing first base out of FAU. Eric Rivera in the 7 spot, right fielder out of FAU. The 1-2 pitch. Cut on and popped up high in the air out towards right center field. That's tracking DeLuca back to the wall, but the center fielder makes the catch And there's one away here in the top of the first. Continuing our way down the Harbor Hawks lineup, I said Eric Rivera is in right field and in the 7th spot out of FAU. Taylor Garris is in the 8th spot out of Samford, playing second base today. And Brady Lindsley, the catcher, rounds out the 9. He plays for the University of Oklahoma. Chandler Fidel on the mound for the YD Red Sox. Faces up against Tommy Jew right now. Lefty on the mound, righty at the plate, and the next pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 1. One away here in the top of the first. Still scoreless from Red Wilson Field. Harbor Hawks and Red Sox doing battle. Game number 43 of 44 on the Cape League season. Now the 0-1. Cut on and served out towards left field, and it dunks right in front of Cotton for a base knock. Tommy Jew stops at first, and that's a 1-out single.
He does a good job with that one, staying right on that pitch from the left-hander and Fidel and just getting it right off the end of the bat and squaring it up into left field, dropping right in front of the left fielder for the YD Red Sox and Cotton.
Tommy batting .247 on the season in his 90th at-bat. He chalks up his 23rd hit. Now Matthew Barefoot up to the plate. He's at the right side. Fidel to the set and the pitch. Ball 1 from the lefty, man on first base. Infield now at double play depth. 1-0 the count on today's left fielder out of Campbell. Fidel to the set and the 1-0. Breaking ball for a strike over the outer half of the plate. John Leeds making the calls from behind home. Down the first base line, Tom Carey. And Mark Delaney umping it up right behind second base right now. Fidel taking his time with the 1-1 delivery. Vito Freesia is behind home plate, catching for him today. Over at first base, Andrew Dashback out of Stanford. Second base, Noah Campbell out of the University of South Carolina. And the next pitch, a ball low and away to Campbell. Count now 2-1. Luke Waddell is manning third base. And over at short, Christian Koss out of UC Irvine. Johnny DeLuca is in center field for the YD Red Sox today. Brad Beasley in right field and Quinn Cotton in left. Snap throw over to first, gets away from the first baseman in Dashback. Tommy Jew advances over to second base. And the throw getting away from the first baseman out of Stanford, and Tommy Jew gets second base for free. One away, one man on second base. The Harbor Hawks with a runner in scoring position early.
And he elected to go with the lefty pickoff move, of course, trying to throw off Tommy Jew's already got 10 stolen bases on the summer, but just kind of airmailed that throw a little bit, like you said, getting off to the wide stretch of the first baseman in Dashbach.
And the next pitch to Barefoot is cut on and chopped down the first base line fair. It beats the pitcher in Fidel, who tries to barehand down the first base line, can't get a clean handle on it. Tommy Jew over to third, and Matthew Barefoot at first with an infield hit. There are runners on the corners, still only one away in the top of the first. The Harbor Hawks in position to strike first.
That's one interesting way to get a hit if you're Matthew Barefoot, almost just kind of a swinging bunt or a check swing bunt, and he beats it and he beats out the throw. The lefty and Waddell having to make a big turn and couldn't quite corral the ball.
Interesting phenomenon on the scoreboard right now. The next pitch, a ball to Todd Lott, actually bounces in front of Todd. And let me correct myself there, not too interesting. There's 2 hits on the board right now for the Harbor Hawks and 1 error for the Red Sox, but the error obviously on the botched pickoff move to Tommy Jew rather than the grounder up the first base foul line. 1-0 the count to Todd Lott, and another throw back over to first. Matthew Barefoot in underneath the tag safely. Matt's batting .371 on the campaign, 49 hits in 132 at-bats, but finds himself in a little bit of a mini slump right now. The 1-0. Call it a strike. Low and away on that pitch. Count now 1-1. Barefoot is 0 for his last 7 going into that at-bat where he got his hit and struck out twice over that stretch in the last 3 games. Though 1 for 8 in his last 4. The 1-1. Hacked on and missed for strike 2. Now Todd Lott has to bear down. 1-2 the count. Runners on first and third. The Harbor Hawks looking to scrape a run across the board first. Fidel to the set and a snap throw back over to first again. The lefty making the move quite easily, but Barefoot not taking much of a lead, dives back in safely. 1-2 remains the count. Seth Gray in the on-deck circle for the Harbor Hawks. Now the 1-2. Ball 2 in the dirt. Nice block from Freesia behind home plate. Keeps it in front of him. Count advances to 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's a great day out here in Yarmouth, so plenty of fans coming to support the Red Sox. Not too many of them at the beach. Not quite a beach day out here on Cape Cod. Some lovely beaches out here in Yarmouth, though. Now the 2-2 from Fidel. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. Todd Lott goes down swinging, and that's strikeout number 38 on the season for the UL Lafayette Raging Cajun. 2 away in the top of the first inning. Seth Gray coming to bat. First strikeout of the day as well for Fidel. Seth at the left side of the plate against the lefty. Fidel to the set. Still runners on the corners. 2 away. No score. And the pitch. Cut on and lined up the middle. That gets down for a base knock. Tommy Jew in to score easily. Matthew Barefoot rounds second. Cruises into third base. Seth Gray on his horse over to second. And that's an RBI double for the third baseman out of Wright State. And the Harbor Hawks lead 1-0 with 2 away here in the top of the first.
And he's put that long hitless streak in the rearview mirror in Seth Gray. Last 3 games picking up an extra base hit in each and every one of them. And right there shoots that one into the right center field gap. Had a hard turn at first and no throw at second as the throw was cut off well before Seth Gray cruised into second base.
Now there's runners on second and third. The Harbor Hawks with a run across the board. 2 away in the top of the first. 1-0 the score in favor of Hyannis. Now Pedro Page is at the right side of the plate. And the next pitch. Ball 1, a breaking pitch from the lefty way inside at Pedro's feet. 1-0 the count. Gray overcast day here from Red Wilson Field. Wind blowing out towards left field right now. And the 1-0. Another ball low and inside. Count advances to 2 balls, no strikes. Pedro's batting .252 on the season, 32 hits and 127 at-bats. And the 2-0 pitch. Called a strike. Snap, throw down to third base. Gets away from the third baseman in Waddell. Lands in left field. Matthew Barefoot in to score. And the Harbor Hawks take a 2-0 lead. Seth Gray charging over to third base in the meantime.
And now Hyannis catches a break. Just a high throw from the catcher in Freesia. Barefoot dove back to the bag, so a little bit of a late jump, but still nowhere near having any chance at the plate were the YD Red Sox.
Matthew Barefoot comes in to score on what's likely an E2. And the next pitch is called a ball low and away. Count advances to 3 balls and 1 strike. 2 runs already across for the Harbor Hawks early here in the top of the first inning. This interdivisional matchup heating up. 3-1. Called a strike over the outer half. Pedro Pages cringes at the call. And the count is loaded. 3-2. 2 away. 2-0 the score. Hyannis out front. Runner on third base in Seth Gray. The payoff pitch. Cut on and roped foul down the third base line, and it gets off Seth Gray's ankle. The infielder from Wright State trying to creep in down the third base line. He gets up immediately after taking the ball off the ankle. But a scary play down that line. Time called by the home plate umpire leads. Third base coach and Harbor Hawks field manager Chad Gassman over to have a word with Seth Gray, but Seth brushes him off, and play is set to resume. 3-2 the count, 2 strikes on Pedro Pages. 2-0 the score. Harbor Hawks out front. The payoff pitch. Breaking ball called, strike 3. Pedro Pages goes down looking to start his evening, and that is the 3rd out of the top of the first. On 3 hits, the Harbor Hawks score 2 runs and strand 1 man on base. Seth Gray left 90 feet away from scoring run number 3 for the Harbor Hawks, but still, Hyannis off to about as good a start as it gets against the hottest team in Cape Cod, the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox, with a 57-point behemoth of a season coming into this game. And Hyannis now will come up to defend their lead against Johnny DeLuca, Brad Beasley, and Noah Campbell. The 1, 2, 3 hitters of the Red Sox order coming to the plate when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Hyannis Harbor Hawks lead 2-0 here from Red Wilson Field. Game number 43 on the Cape League season, trending towards the Hyannis side early against Yarmouth-Dennis. Back at it here from Red Wilson Field, along with Lyle Goldstein, I'm Chris Lucey. And out to the mound for Hyannis to try and defend that 2-0 edge is Joe Quintal, the sophomore out of Fordham. He's set up against Johnny DeLuca to start this thing. Righty on the mound, lefty at the plate, and the pitch. Breaking ball for a called strike. And the at-bat is underway. Quintal working quickly from the windup. The 0-1. Ball 1 inside. Count 1-1. 2-0 here score. Hyannis out front. Brad Beasley and Noah Campbell coming up after to the next pitch. Cut on and grounded right up the middle. That one gets over towards Davis Wenzel behind second base. The shortstop charges over to first, throws wildly over to the bag. Pedro Page is barely getting leather on it. And DeLuca is safe with the leadoff hit. Brady Lindsley, the catcher, out to cover behind the bag.
Brad Beasley.
Almost a dangerous play right there for Hyannis, Lyle.
Yeah, it got off the mid of Quintal, so it slowed the ball down a little bit, giving Wenzel a chance to make the play moving off to his left. Otherwise, it would have been a likely leadoff single. Wenzel making the play and just a little bit of a wide throw. It gets off Page's glove, and Lindsley trailing behind him to prevent any further advancement.
Quintal on the mound for the Harbor Hawks right now. And off to a bit of a rough start. Giving up a leadoff hit early in this game. Snap throw back over towards first base. Beasley at the plate right now, and he has been hot since coming and getting healthy out here on Cape Cod. He's at the right side of the plate, and he takes a beanball on the first pitch he sees. That one goes right off of his front shoulder. So Beasley, with his 375 batting average in 64 at-bats, trots over towards first base with a free pass. Johnny DeLuca up to second. And now the Harbor Hawks are in a little bit of trouble with Noah Campbell coming to the plate, the newly minted Cape League leader in average with a scorching 394. He's up at 99 at-bats on the season. Steps up to the left-hand side of the dish. Has 39 hits in that time. 6 home runs to lead the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox. Comes up with runners on first and second, and the next pitch is cut on and cranked out towards left field. It's chasing in Matthew Barefoot, and he makes the play on the run for out number 1 here in the bottom of the first. Going through the rest of the lineup for the YD Red Sox, Andrew Dashbach is at the 4 spot out of Stanford. Vito Freesia in the 5 spot, today's catcher. In the 6 spot, Quinn Cotton at playing left field. In the 7 spot, Christian Koss, the shortstop. In the 8 spot, Zach Zubia, the designated hitter, and Luke Waddell rounding things out in third base and at the 9 spot. Catching for Quintal who's 1-0 on the season with a save and 35 strikeouts, actually in his spring season with Fordham, excuse me. Steps up and deals the next pitch to Dashback. He grounds it straight over to Seth Gray, who fields it on a hop, fires over to first, and thus retires the side. So now we go to the top of the second inning. Eric Rivera, Taylor Garris, and Brady Lindsley due up in just a few moments on the Hyannis Harbor-Hawks Digital Network. Do not go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor-Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Eric Rivera up to the plate to start things here in the top of the second inning, along with Lyle Goldstein. I'm Chris Lucey. He's followed up by Taylor Garris and Brady Lindsley. Eric's in the right side, and the lefty deals a first pitch strike right down Broadway. We're underway in the top of the second. Hyannis out front 2-0 on the Hyannis Harbor-Hawks Digital Network against the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox. Chandler Fidel out for inning number 2 and the 0-1. Cut on and served out towards center field, and it dunks in for a base hit. Eric Rivera squares his way up around first base, takes a big turn, but the relay throw in from DeLuca stops him up there, and he's on to lead off the inning. Taylor Garris coming up to the plate now for Hyannis. He's batting .182 on the campaign, but had himself 2 base knocks last night, bringing himself up to 10 hits in 55 at-bats. Runner on first base is Rivera. Eric with that hit, picking up hit number 22 on the season. The next pitch, check swing in the dirt, goes the pitch, but Freesia out from behind home plate to pick it up. Backstop out of Hofstra, able to just loop it back out to his man on the mound. Trojan out of the University of Arkansas, Little Rock. Freesia resetting. 0-1 count and the pitch. Another bouncer in the dirt. Freesia with a nice stop. Eric Rivera not even thinking about getting off of first base. He got on with a leadoff single. 2-0 is your score. Hyannis out front with a 2-spot they put up in the top of the first inning. Now Garris on to possibly extend the Hyannis edge. Infield at double play depth. Snap throw back over to first again. And Rivera retreats in safely. One of those runs was put really in prime position to score off of an error on a pickoff attempt. The 1-1 pitch. Eric Rivera goes. Calls a strike. Throw down to second base. Rivera slides in way ahead of the throw. And a great jump has Eric Rivera a stolen base.
And he read the left-hander and Fidel perfectly there. That was a long, slow motion from the lefty. Didn't really look over to first either. So Rivera going with the first move, and he read it He read it really well, and he slides into second now in scoring position.
With his 11th steal of the season. Now he's got a nice lead off of second base. 1-2 now the count on Garris. Nobody out in the top of the second. The pitch cut on and popped up high into the gray sky. Freesia coming towards the Harbor Hawks dugout to make a play, and it dunks right in front of the Harbor Hawks on deck circle. Garris staying alive in a 2-strike count. Rivera in scoring position off of a leadoff single and then a steal. And Garris, the man to possibly drive him in. Taylor's been getting regular playing time since the exit of Braden Como. He went home just to get himself in a bit of better shape for fall ball this season. Had been battling an injury throughout the later half of the Harbor Hawks season. But Garris making the most of his time at the plate. The 1-2. Breaking ball way outside for ball 2. Rivera jumps off second at the pitch and retreats. Still nobody out here in the top of the second inning. Hyannis with 2 runs on 4 hits, as well as 2 Yarmouth-Dennis errors. Snap throw back to second, and Rivera has to slide back in safely. Tag applied by Noah Campbell, the second baseman. Fidel comes to the set. The lefty looks back at the man at second and the 2-2. Called strike 3. Taylor Garris goes down looking strikeout number 3 on the day for Fidel. Has 1 man down in the top of the second inning. Now Brady Lindsley stepping up to the plate. He'll come from the left side against the lefty. Eric Rivera still on second with that leadoff single and then a steal. 2-0 your score. Harbor Hawks out front. Chandler Fidel already racking up strikeouts early on here. Comes to the set and deals. Bouncer in the dirt for ball 1. Brady Lindsley holding up all the way. And it makes sense that Fidel is getting guys out early by strikeout. In 96 innings pitched this year for the Trojans out at Little Rock, he had 92 strikeouts. Led the University of Arkansas at Little Rock in both marks. The 1-0. Called a ball just inside on Lindsley. 2-0 the count on Brady. He's catching today, but has played arguably more catcher. Has played arguably more first, not even arguably, he's played more first base than he has at the backstop for the Harbor Hawks this season. And that's saying a lot because he's never been a regular first baseman in his entire career. That changed this season, though, and helped him stay on with the Harbor Hawks late this season, the 2-0. Hacked on and missed for strike 1. It's been an interesting journey position-wise for Brady Lindsley. He was a third baseman and a shortstop primarily in high school, and then in the summers he would catch because at his high school he was stuck behind Baylor standout and Team USA selection Shea Langoliers. The 2-1. Breaking ball almost hits Lindsley, but he takes it for ball 3, getting out of the way just in time. Eric Rivera still on second base, 1 away here in the top of the second. 2-0 the score. Hyannis out front. Langoliers also took a starring role with the Chatham Anglers last season in the Cape. Terrorized the Eastern Division. Now the 3-1. Cut on and a grounder over towards Waddell at third base. He throws across the diamond. Brady Lindsley out by a good couple of steps. And there's 2 away here in the top of the second.
And Fidel's done a nice job responding to that leadoff hit by Eric Rivera along with the stolen base. He comes back and strikes out Taylor Garris and then gets some soft contact over to the left side and Luke Waddell.
And that brings up Davis Wenzel. He's hitting leadoff today. Already 0 for 1. He's at the right side of the plate. Runner on second base in Eric Rivera. Lineup turning over for Hyannis for the first time right now. Fidel with his second trip through. The first pitch. Breaking ball low and inside. Count now 1-0. Davis usually hits in the 3 spot, at least in his college season at Baylor. He's been a primary leadoff guy for Hyannis this season and hasn't really enjoyed it all that much. The numbers would back him up there. He's only batting 157 as a leadoff man, as the 1-0 is high and outside for ball 2. Davis, like many, ball players, just likes to sit in the on-deck circle and see a guy a couple more times, throw a few more pitches before he goes after him. Fidel coming to the set. 2-0 the count, 2 away. The pitch. Call it a strike over the outer half. And the count now at 2-1. That breaking pitch settling nicely over the outside corner, getting plenty of calls from John Leeds. Infield at double play depth. Outfield just about normal. Not really playing up either of the lines. The 2-1. Swung on and popped up behind home plate. Frisha out from behind the dish to make the catch, and it dunks in right behind him. The backstop from Hofstra losing it in the gray sky. The wind obviously playing a factor there too, Lyle.
And those are just the toughest plays for a catcher. You have to throw off the mask and then kind of just find the ball sitting somewhere up in the sky, try to get a good angle under it, and then even when it comes down, it can still often be a funny angle to try to make the grab. So Frisha tried to play it as well as he could, but overran it just by about a half a step.
And gave Davis Wenzel a second life. 2-2 the count. Eric Rivera on second base, trying not to be stranded. He had a leadoff hit and a steal to get him out there. 2-0 the score. Hyannis out front. Fidel the set and the 2-2. Cut on and roped foul down the left field line. Gets way out of play and forces Chad Gassman out of the third base coaching box. He's all right, though. Getting ready to jump back in there. And in putting Davis in the leadoff spot, it's almost as if coach's hands are tied because Davis is just such a productive hitter. I mean, with 21 walks, 14 RBI, and 38 hits on the year, he's amongst the most productive guys in this lineup. Really sets the table well for Hyannis, despite his numbers not showing it. The 2-2. Hacked on and nicked foul behind home. Count remains 2-2. Hyannis coming to Red Wilson Field today in their away blues. Orange lettering, white trim around the lettering, blue jerseys, white pants, and the whites for the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox playing at home with blue caps and the YD Red Sox logo in red on the forehead. The 2-2, breaking ball for ball 3, and Chandler Fidel loads up the count. Packed house here from Red Wilson Field. 2-0 the score. Hyannis out front. 3-2 count on Davis Wenzel with a man on second base here in the top of the second inning. Noah Campbell holding on Eric Rivera at second. Tommy Jew in the on-deck circle. Fidel trying to find his way out of the inning. The payoff pitch. Cut on and a grounder over towards third base. The third baseman, Waddell, tags Eric Rivera as he tries to slide around his glove over towards third base. But he's punched out by Mark Delaney, the third base umpire, and that is your top of the second inning. One hit, one man left on base. Eric Rivera getting himself into scoring position with the steal, but gets no further than second as the Harbor Hawks go down 1-2-3 right after him. We'll now go to the bottom of the second inning. Vito Frisha, Quinn Cotton, and Christian Koss do up the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the YD Red Sox. Coming to bat in just a moment here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Stay tuned. Back here from Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth-Dennis, along with Lyle Goldstein, I'm Chris Lucey. Hyannis up 2-0, trying to defend the lead with Vito Frisha, Quinn Cotton, and Christian Koss due up for the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox. Joe Quintal back out for the Harbor Hawks, his second inning of work. His first pitch, called a strike to Vito Frisha. Backstop out of Hofstra today for his first ups. 0-1 the count. And the next pitch called a ball low and away. Count now 1-1. Vito in the midst of a great season, batting .345 in 29 at-bats, 10 hits, as the next pitch he sees is cut on and cranked out towards center field. Tommy Jew on his horse watches the ball dunked right in front of the wall for a base hit. Vito Fresia stops at second base. The relay throw comes into Davis Wenzel on the fly, sailing way over the cutoff man's head. And that is a leadoff double for Vito Fresia to start off the bottom of the second inning. And my Lyle, that was about as close to getting out as it could be.
And no warning track here at Red Wilson Field, so a little bit of a tough read for Tommy Jew. Couldn't feel anything change on his feet. But for the hitter in Vito Fresia, just saw one up in the zone from the right-hander in Quintal and didn't miss it. Crushes it right about 5 feet in front of the wall out there, maybe even less.
Now Quinn Cotton at the right side of the plate, a runner on second base. The first pitch. Cut on and popped up foul behind home. 0-1 the count on the man out of Grand Canyon University. Cotton playing left field today. Batting .288 and 139 at bats. 40 hits on the season. 21 runs batted in. The 0-1 pitch. Cut on and nicked foul behind home. Count now 0-2 on Quinn. Runner on second base, Fresia got on with the leadoff double, and a man at the plate in Cotton who can definitely drive him in. Has a tendency to do just that for these Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox, who are one of the hottest offensive teams in Cape Cod, especially at home. The 0-2 pitch. Just misses outside. Count now 1-2. If you want to talk about a hot batting average at home, Yarmouth-Dennis bats .325 here at Red Wilson Field, compared to only .243 on the road. Their ERA as a team shoots up .24 on the road, too. The 1-2 pitch. Bouncer way in front of home plate, gets away from Brady Lindsley, goes all the way to the backstop. Moving over to third base, Fresia gets there standing up, and the wild pitch on Quintal gets a man 90 feet away from having the Harbor Hawks lead. It's 2-0 right now. Count advancing to 2-2 on the missed pitch right there from the righty out of Fordham. Quinn Cotton now with a little bit of time to regroup. He's become a favorite of these Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox ball players. Guy a lot of people rally around. Whole team calls him Birdman, the 2-2. Cut on and fisted high and foul down the first base line. Count now 2-2. And Cotton's not necessarily sure why. He thinks that has something to do with his haircut earlier in the year. He had a much longer hairstyle earlier in the year, and it was bleached blonde at the tips. And now he's cut it down since. The 2-2. High and outside for ball 3. Count now loaded 3 balls and 2 strikes. So since he's cut his hair, he doesn't really have much blonde twinge anymore. Maybe a little hint of it, but still not as much as earlier this year. And the nickname is still stuck regardless. Now the 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball called strike 3. And Quintal's first punch out of the day could not come at a better time. With a runner on third base, he settles right down, retires Quinn Cotton, and there's one away here in the bottom of the second.
He does a good job battling back into that at bat. Let a couple of pitches get away from him. Of course, the wild pitch that let the runner in Fresia advance to third, but then drops in a 3-2 breaking ball right at the top of the zone. A nice job by the right-hander.
Christian Koss at the right side of the plate now. Runner on third and the pitch. Swung on, popped up, foul behind home. Quintal getting guys to foul balls off early on. 0-1 the count. Christian batting .245 and 106 at-bats this Cape League season. He's knocked in 14 runs. And the first run of the game for the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox could prospectively stand on third base right now as the 0-1 pitch misses low and away. Fastball brings the count to a ball and a strike. Hyannis put up 2 in the top of the first inning. The offenses for both ball clubs pretty much dormant since. 1-1. Swung on in a high fly down the right field line. It's in foul territory, way out of play. Pedro Page is ranging over towards the stands. Did he make the catch? No, he did not. Tom Carey waves the play safe. The first base umpire making the call, and the count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. The wind picking that one up a good deal, and the gray sky here over Red Wilson Field making it all the more difficult to make that play. 1-2 now the count. Quintal to the set, and the righty deals to the righty. Another one cut on and popped up. That one over towards the left side of the infield. Seth Gray with a beat on it in foul territory. The third baseman makes the catch, fighting off the wind. And after a leadoff double and a wild pitch, getting that man over to third base, there are 2 consecutive outs for the Harbor Hawks. One by strikeout and one by very soft contact on a foul pop-up by Christian Koss. 2 away in the bottom of the second. Zach Zubia up to the right side of the plate, swinging some serious home run power. Set the Northwoods League record in a single season with 17 homers last year and takes a first pitch strike over the outer half. 0-1 the count on Zubia. Zach's batting .255 on the Cape League summer. The 0-1 pitch. Called a strike, low and away. 16 strikeouts on the year, and he's another strike away from number 17. Runner on third base in Freesia. Got there with a leadoff double. Advanced on a wild pitch. Now in danger of being stranded. The 0-2. Fastball high and outside. Count 1-2. 2-0 the score. Bottom of the second inning. Hyannis with the edge. Game number 43 of the Cape League season for the Harbor Hawks. Going so far, so good. The 1-2. Cut on and rolled foul down the left field line. Gets over out of play towards a loaded stand down the left field line. Plenty of fans coming out to support the YD Red Sox today. Yarmouth head coach Scott Pickler thinking it has something to do with the lack of beach weather today. The 1-2. Cut on and fisted the other way towards right field. It's tracking Eric Rivera toward the foul line, but the right fielder makes the catch on the run. And down go the Red Sox, 1-2-3 after a leadoff double. We go now to the top of the third inning. Tommy Jew, Matthew Barefoot, and Todd Lott due up for Hyannis. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up in just a moment here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Chris Lucey.
Welcome back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Chandler Fidel's day is done, and in his place comes Tyler Madrigal, coming out of St. Mary's College, a 1.17 ERA. Lefty scoring up the righty Tommy Jew, and he takes a first pitch and cranks it out towards right center field. This one right to Beasley, though, the right fielder making the catch out near the track for out number 1.
From Campbell, number 28, Matthew Barefoot.
Continuing with the numbers on Madrigal, 19 strikeouts in those 23 innings pitched. Has yet to pick up a decision on the year. 1.17 ERA, as I mentioned earlier. One away here in the top of the third inning now. Matthew Barefoot coming up to the plate after the flyout from Tommy Jew. The lefty deals to the righty. A ball low and away, count 1-0. It was a short outing from Chandler Fidel today. Only worked 2 innings, the 1-0. Called a strike low and inside. Count now 1-1 on Matthew. He's 1 for 1. Came around to score 1 of 2 runs for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the first. He's why Hyannis leads 2-0. Low set and the 1-1 from the windup. Called a ball low and away. Count now 2-1. Other numbers on Fidel. 4 hits, only 1 earned run of the 2. Struck out 3. Madrigal to the set. The lefty kicks and fires. And the 2-1, it's called a strike on a fastball. Matthew Barefoot checking his swing a little bit, but holds up. Still rung up for a strike, though. Now he has to shorten up. Hyannis has been hot over the last couple of games, despite Matthew Barefoot going cold, which usually doesn't go hand in hand, the 2-2. Called a ball high. 3-2 now the count. Hyannis comes into this ball game on a 2-game winning streak. And Matthew Barefoot didn't have a hit over either of those 2 games. An 0 for 7 slide in that stretch with 2 strikeouts. But he broke the skid with a hit early today. Now the 3-2. Fisted high and foul down the right field line. Gets out of play. Blown down over there, but a nice catch by a fan. Gets a little bit of an applause from the gallery here at Red Wilson Field. A packed house today. Fans lining from left field all the way around the diamond here at Merrill Red Wilson Field. Many of them over in left and on the YD side of home plate. Now the 3-2 again. Cut on, lined right up the middle, but a bouncer to Christian Koss. The shortstop Fields throws across the diamond and gets the speeding Matthew Barefoot for out number 2 here in the top of the third. Todd Lott coming to the plate now. Todd's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. But he comes into today riding a 4-game hit streak with only 1 strikeout in his last 13 at-bats. 6 for 13 over that stretch with 2 extra base knocks. He's at the right side of the plate. The lefty Madrigal deals. Called strike. Nice little breaking ball. And the 0-1 called a ball low and away. Count now 1-1. And the crazy part about that number with Todd Lott, only 1 strikeout in his last 13 at-bats, is that he leads this ball club in strikeouts as the 1-1 is cut on and roped right at the shortstop, Koss, who makes a running grab for out number 3. So the Harbor Hawks go down in order 1, 2, 3 here in the top of the third inning. And now we go to the bottom half of the frame. Luke Waddell, Johnny DeLuca, and Brad Beasley due up to try and break into a 2-0 Harbor Hawks edge. We'll be back in just a quick moment on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere.
Right here on behalf of the Harbor Hawks, the Red Sox, league officers, and the
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Luke Waddell leading off for the YD Red Sox. Takes a first pitch strike from Joe Quintal. And we're underway here in the bottom of the third inning. 2-0 your score. I'm Chris Lucey, bringing you all the action here in game number 43 for Hyannis. The 0-1. Cut on and sliced over towards Davis Wenzel. The shortstop dives and makes the grab, leaping to his right to snare out number 1 here in the bottom of the third and send Luke Waddell back to the bench. What a grab from the shortstop out of Baylor. Ranging towards the gap, he just stretches out his glove, leaps just at the right time, and makes a sensational diving catch. Now Johnny DeLuca up to the left side of the plate against the righty Quintal, who kicks and deals. Breaking ball for a strike. Count now 0-1. And I refrained from giving Quintal's Cape League numbers earlier on today, the 0-1. Bouncer, count now 1-1, because I didn't think it really reflected who he is as a pitcher. Got off to a rough debut. I mean, to have an ERA of 27 as the 1-1 is cut on and fouled off. Again, an ERA that egregious just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Only 1 inning pitched. He was really victimized by a grand slam in his lone inning of work on the Cape League summer. A lot of these guys get a rude awakening. The 1-2. High and tight, count now 2-2. But to revisit his numbers from his time with the Rams in the A-10, 1-0 record, 28 2/3 innings pitched, 35 strikeouts. As the 2-2 is cut on, and it's a slow roller over to second base. Taylor Garris fields forehand side, throws across to first, and gets the second out of the inning. Johnny DeLuca down. 2 away here in the bottom of the third. Johnny DeLuca now down to 1 for 2 on the day. 0 for 1 on the day for Luke Waddell. That was his first ups. And now Brad Beasley up to the right side of the plate out of Cal San Luis Obispo. San Luis Obispo. The first pitch. Called a ball high and outside. Count 1-0. Beasley came in with a couple nagging injuries earlier this year. The 1-0 pitch. Called a ball high and outside. Count now 2-0. 2 away here, 2-0 the score. Hyannis out front in the bottom of the third inning against the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. The 2-0. Cut on and a high pop-up foul down the first base line. It's getting towards the fans, and one of them makes a play on it. Count now 2-1 on Beasley. Earlier this year, he was just focused really on getting healthy. The 2-1. Called a strike low and away. Count now 2-2. And it's a shame when you come out to the Cape League and your hands are kind of tied. But since then, he's made the most of it. 21 games, 375 average. The 2-2. Cut on and feasted out towards left field. It dunks right in front of Matthew Barefoot for a base hit. And Brad Beasley with a 2-out knock in the bottom of the third inning keeps the YD Red Sox alive. It's funny, I was asking Beasley about his early season earlier in the season because I was interested to know if he would continue making the day in the life videos that have made him such a staple down at his school. But he said at that time he was just more focused on getting his mind right, getting his body right as well. Now up to the plate, Noah Campbell. First pitch high and outside. Campbell, switch hitter, coming from the left side of the plate. Runner on first base is Beasley. 1-0 the count, 2-0 the score. Harbor Hawks out front. Snap throw over to first, and Beasley dives back in safe. Beasley, with that kind of attitude, really just likes to make those videos. They're very popular because they keep the creative juices flowing for him. The 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball for a strike. 1-1 the count. And a person like that who makes detailed, popular videos just for the sake of doing them. They don't really advance his baseball career much. He's not interested in a career in media. Just goes to show he's one of those guys that has to always be doing something. And now he has to dive back over to first base. Noah Campbell standing at the left side of the dish right now. His host family was honored today amongst the rest of the YD host families. They've been especially supportive of Campbell. The 1-1. Ball 2 high and outside. Count now 2-1. In fact, Noah Campbell attributes a lot of his success to the home run smoothies that his host mom makes him before every game. They're packed with protein, a little bit of strawberries too. He can't get enough. The 2-1. Breaking ball for a strike. Count now 2-2. And the name has suited Campbell well. They've translated to just what the name has in him. Home runs. He leads the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox with 6 and also leads the ball club with 26 RBIs. Snap throw back over to first. And back in, Beasley is safe again. 2-2 the count, 2 away here in the bottom of the third inning. Joe Quintal cruising through a Cape League start against the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox. Runner goes. The pitch is cut on and grounded over towards Pedro Pages at first. He catches it, one hop, steps on first base himself, and the side retired here in Yarmouth. 1 hit, 1 man left on base. No runs on no errors, and the Harbor Hawks come up for the top of the 4th inning, bringing Seth Gray, Pedro Pages, and Eric Rivera to the plate, trying to grow a 2-0 edge over YD. Keep it locked right here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Welcome back, everyone, here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Robert Marcello. Quickly going to go around the league scores. Currently in top of the 4th. Brewster Whitecaps are up on the Harwich Mariners 8-3. Here at Red Wilson Field, the Harbor Hawks are up 2-0. Yet to start at 6 o'clock will be the Katuitt Kettleers on the road against the Falmouth Commodores at 6:30. The Bourne Braves are off against the Wareham Gatemen. In the nightcap, the Orleans Firebirds against the Chatham Anglers. A quick break, and I'll send it back to Chris, Lucey, and Lyle Goldstein on the call.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Chris Lucey and Lyle Goldstein.
Seth Gray, Pedro Pages, and Eric Rivera due up to try and extend a 2-0 edge for the Harbor Hawks here from Red Wilson Field. Top of the 4th inning coming your way in mere moments. Along with Lyle Goldstein, I'm Chris Lucey. Seth Gray now up to the left side of the plate against the lefty Madrigal. Back out for inning number 2. The lefty out of St. Mary's College, taking his time, comes to the set. And now deals. Called strike over the outer half. 0-1 the count on Seth. He's 1 for 1 today with an RBI double in the top of the 1st. Plated 1 of 2 runs for Hyannis. The 0-1 pitch. Called a ball low and away. Count now 1-1. Infield, outfield playing pretty much normal depth. Albeit the first baseman for the YD Red Sox playing all the way towards the back of the outfield grass. Down the line as well. 1-1. Called strike. And the count now 1-2. Likely playing for the pull on Seth Gray, who's at the left side of the plate. Wind blowing out here on a muggy and gray day from Yarmouth-Dennis. Game number 43 on the Cape League season, the 1-2. Check swing and a slow roller down the first base line. The first baseman dash back off of first. Covering is Madrigal. The throw, and he steps on first to get Seth Gray by a step for out number 1 here in the top of the 4th. Some nice communication there, wasn't it, Lyle?
Yeah, it was, and a nice job by the left-hander and Ty Madrigal coming off the mound to make a nice play over at first. Dashbach charging in, fields it cleanly. A good feed over to his pitcher, just plops that right foot right on the bag for a quick first out.
It's a team that has had good chemistry all season long. I mean, hard not to when you've scored 57 points on the year. Pedro Pages at the right side of the plate. Takes a called ball low and away to start his at-bat against Madrigal. I mean, this team is head and shoulders above the rest of the Cape. The next closest team is first in the Western Division in Wareham. They only have 50 points. 1-0. Called a ball low and inside. Count now 2-0. And a big part of that is chemistry. And Scott Pickler says, the manager of the YD Red Sox, says he's been fortunate over the last 5 years to just consistently get teams that mesh well together every summer. He certainly had no shortage of talent. The 2-0. Called a ball low and inside. Count now 3-0. This is a guy that managed Buster Posey in his time out here in Cape Cod, who's won 3 consecutive Cape League championships. And he's honest about it. It takes a little bit of luck to be successful out here, to pick the right guys. The 3-0. Called a ball high and outside. Ball 4. Pedro Pages still 0 for 1 on the day, but works a walk with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. 2-0 your score. Hyannis out front. Eric Rivera, his Florida Atlantic teammate, coming up to the plate to try and bring him along the base paths. Eric's 1 for 1 with a single and a stolen base. Was stranded in the top of the 2nd inning. Comes up to the right side against the lefty Madrigal. He looks back, Pages at first and deals. Pitch for a called strike over the outer half. A nice fastball. Count now 0-1. Quinn Cotton, another guy that Pickler has gotten lucky with this year. Found him the 0-1. Called a ball low and inside. That one getting off the dirt. Count now 1-1. Found Cotton at Grand Canyon University. That's in the Western Athletic Conference. Not too many guys from the WAC playing in the Cape this summer. The 1-1. Cut on and fisted high in the air. It could dunk down towards the foul line. And it just barely gets in fair. And is that a fair ball? Yes, it is. Eric Rivera getting a little bit of a conflicting call from Tom Carey down the first base line, but it dunks in just on the left side of the chalk line down right field. Pedro Pages up to second base. And now a meeting of the minds on the mound for the YD Red Sox. A couple infielders and Vito Freesia in to have a word with Madrigal. And now everyone disperses, pointing fingers left and right, trying to get the infielders and outfielders aligned with runners on first and second. Still only 1 away in the top of the 4th. Taylor Garris at the plate. Hyannis trying to grow a 2-0 lead over YD. Eric Rivera with his 2nd hit of the day. Squares up at first, excuse me. First pitch to Garris, a strike high and outside. Nice fastball from Madrigal, count 0-1. Brady Lindsley taking some warm-up hacks in his catcher's gear down in the on-deck circle for Hyannis. Madrigal to the set, and the 0-1 pitch. Fastball for a strike. Count 0-2. 1 away here in the top of the 4th. 2-0 to score. Hyannis in business once again with multiple runners on and 1 on second. Infield back at double play depth. Outfield playing back 2. The 0-2. Cut on and lined out into right field for a base hit. Pedro Pages moving towards third base. Gets the hold sign from Chad Gassman. Eric Rivera to second, and the bases are jammed on the hit from Taylor Garris. Nowhere to put Brady Lindsley.
He does a good job with that one. A little bit of an inside-out swing from the Samford infielder, but staying with that from the left-hander and Madrigal, who's been so good all season, a 1.17 ERA coming into today. And Garris just stays the other way with it. Everybody advancing a base, and the Harbor Hawks rallying here in the 4th.
Madrigal's 2nd inning of work not going as planned for the man out of St. Mary's College. Brady Lindsley stepping up to the plate now. He's at the left side, 0 for 1 with a 5-3 ground out. 1 away here in the top of the 4th. 2-0, Hyannis out front. Bases jammed. The first pitch. Called a ball high and inside. Count 1-0. Brady had an 0 for 3 last night, but did walk and score. The big night for him, a 4 for 4 spot against the first place Wareham Gateman just a few days ago. The 1-0 pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 1. 1-1 the count on Brady. But getting back to that nice piece from Garris, he says earlier on in the season when he wasn't really getting all that much playing time, it really brought him back to the shop with his swing, where he realized that he was just getting way too straight with his arms as the 1-1 is cut on and grounded over towards third base. It goes off of Waddell's glove, and the relay throw from Koss as he tries to get it ducks off of his hand as well and goes out towards foul ground. Pedro Pages scores. Eric Rivera moves his way up to third base. Taylor Garris to second. The bases remain loaded. Brady Lindsley on first. And Hyannis has a 3-0 lead here in the top of the fourth inning with only one out.
And catching a break there, Brady Lindsley just sending one the other way and up the third base line and right off the glove of Waddell over at third. Everybody advancing. It actually ricocheted off to the shortstop, and Kasu tried to shovel it to third, but not in time.
Base is still jammed. And the next pitch. Called a strike to Davis Wenzel. He's 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice and a flyout. Third error on the day for YD. They have not covered themselves in glory in the field. At a home field where they are about as successful as anyone in Cape Cod. 0-1 count on Davis. He comes out and just takes time. Now he's back in. Doesn't like the bat leadoff. He's in the one spot today, but he's had a little bit of time to take a look at Madrigal. We'll see if it pays off for him. Bases loaded, 0-1 count, 1 away. The pitch. Called a strike. That fastball spotting up over the outside corner. And now the count's 0-2 on Davis. Infielders back around double play depth. Anything on the ground could see the Red Sox out of an inning that's already seen them go further back of the Harbor Hawks. It's 3-0 right now. 1 run coming in on that E5. Madrigal to the set, the 0-2. Called a ball high and outside. Another fastball. Just elevated a little bit too much. Vito Freesia darts the ball back out to his left-hander. Righty at the plate in Wenzel. Madrigal taking his time. The wind blowing out here from a packed house in Yarmouth. Hyannis out front 3-0 in an interdivisional matchup. The 1-2 pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. Some low cheddar gets the man at the plate in Wenzel swinging for out number 2 here in the top of the fourth inning. Nice execution right there from Madrigal. Just the pitch he needed. And that's his first strikeout of the evening as well.
Yeah, and battles back nicely after the error in the previous at-bat. Gets Wenzel to just chase one, comes up empty in that at-bat. And now Tommy Jew with an RBI opportunity.
That's the second unearned run given up by the YD Red Sox today. Tommy Jew takes ball 1 on a fastball high and outside. Freesia has to spring up from behind home plate to keep it from going wild. 1-0 the count. Matthew Barefoot in the on-deck circle. Tommy Jew, 1 for 2 today with a single, also came around to score. Time called. Freesia out to have a word with Madrigal. It's a tough situation for them right here, Lyle. Bases loaded, 2 away, 1-0 the count, and the outfield and infield for the YD Red Sox really just not backing up the men on the mound today. 3 errors for the Red Sox, and that's not how you play winning baseball. It's really a misnomer from a ball club that has dominated the Cape all season long.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've just kind of been kicking the ball around today, and it's come back to haunt them. You see the 2 runs from the Harbor Hawks in the first, and the 1 here was from an error.
And now the 1-0 from Madrigal. The pitch. Breaking ball from the lefty. Dips right in for a strike over the outside corner to the right-handed hitting Jew. 1-1 the count, 2 away. Top of the fourth inning. Hyannis with a little rally on its hands. Tommy Jew with a chance to blow the roof off of Red Wilson Field. The 1-1. Called a ball high and outside. Count 2-1. We've seen Tommy do it before. A bases clearing 2-out triple in a game earlier this season just was outrageous. That was against Orleans only 2 days ago. Started off a winning streak for the Harbor Hawks in a back-and-forth 11-9 thriller from McKeon Park. The 2-1. Called a strike right inside. Off-speed offering for Madrigal. Brings Hyannis down to its last strike here in the top of the fourth. 1 run has already come across. It's 3-0 Hyannis, but the bases are loaded, and the Harbor Hawks want more. Tommy Jew mimes a couple practice swings. Madrigal to the set. The lefty deals to the righty. A pitch that's cut on and fisted foul down the left field line. Kicks up some chalk and gets out of play. Count remains 2-2. Chad Gaspin watches it sail up the third base line. Shoots a look over to his first base coach, Bobby Melly, up the first base line. Outfielders and infielders playing pretty far back. Nobody holding on to anybody. 3 big leads off of each base. The 2-2. Bouncer. Vito Freesia chests it up, keeps everybody on their respective bases, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Rivera's on third, Garris on second, and Brady Lindsley on first. Rivera there with a single, Garris likewise, and Brady Lindsley out to first on an E5. That E5 scored Pedro Pages to make this game 3-0. And now the 3-2 pitch. Cut on and grounded up the middle. This one chasing Koss towards the second base bag. He throws on to first after a couple double clutches and barely gets Tommy Jew for the 3rd out here in the top of the 4th inning. So on 2 hits and 1 error, Hyannis is able to scrape 1 run across the board to extend their lead to 3-0, but they get no more than that, stranding the bases loaded, and now we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Andrew Daschbach, Vito Freesia, and Quinn Cotton due up in just a few moments on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Stay put.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein.
Lyle Goldstein along with Chris Lucey, might I add. My bad on the rejoin there, Lyle, but your play-by-play is coming up pretty soon. We're only a couple minutes away from the bottom of the 5th inning when you'll take over. This game has just been going by pretty quickly.
Yeah, just over an hour here. 3.5 innings into this game. 3-0 lead for Hyannis, and Quintal really starting to deal here against the first-place Red Sox.
Dash back at the plate, and the first pitch is a ball that just gets off of Brady Lindsley. Might have actually hit the knob of Daschbach's bat. No definitive call from the home plate umpire, John Leeds, yet, and a strike goes up on the board, so it looks like Daschbach got a piece of it, and then it got a piece of Brady Lindsley. But going back to what you were saying, Lyle, this has been an absolutely crucial morale boost for the Harbor Hawks, is that Quintal has been able to go this far. I mean, you lose so many pitchers as the Harbor Hawks have over the last 6 days. You need every arm you can get, as the 0-1 is a called strike right down Broadway. And I mean, you look back, it's just been a war of attrition all over the Cape, but the Harbor Hawks have been hit the hardest. They've lost 10 pitchers in the past 6 days.
Yeah, and we'll see how that bears for him in the playoffs.
The 0-2. Cut on and roped up the middle through for a base hit. Andrew Daschbach starts off the bottom of the 4th inning with a base hit. He's now 1 for 2 on the day. 5 for his last 12. Vito Freesia now coming up to the dish. He's 3 for 6 since returning from a 17-day absence for this YD ball club. Steps up to the left side, or the right side, excuse me, of the plate against the righty. 1 man on in Daschbach. 3-0 the score. Hyannis out front. Infield retreating to double play depth. And the pitch called a ball low and inside. Count now 1-0. And I think a big part of it for Quintal was just getting past that first outing. It is a hurdle for a lot of guys, the 1-0. Cut on and grounded up towards third base, off the outstretched glove of Seth Gray on the dive for a base hit. Vito Freesia has his 2nd hit of the day. Andrew Daschbach advances to second base, and with nobody down, there's 2 men on 2 consecutive base hits.
And Quintal back-to-back hits to start the inning, and against the meat of the YD Red Sox order, the Stanford product in Dashbach with the single, and then Beto Freesia ripping one up the left side. And this is really the first jam that Quintal's been into for the better part of the day. So if you're the right-hander from Fordham, you're going to have to battle down, and this is going to be his biggest test, especially against a hitter like Quinn Cotton.
Well, Quintal is only 47 pitches in, so he's got plenty of energy left in that arm. Runners on first and second, nobody away here in the bottom of the fourth. Cotton at the right side, the righty Quintal deals. Ball one, low and away. It's a gray, windy, overcast day here from Cape Cod. Merrill Red Wilson Field loaded up with fans, electing for a day at the ballpark rather than the beach. Can't say I blamed them. The 1-0. Called a ball low and away again. Count now 2-0. Cotton's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. But regardless, Quintal trying to avoid his red-hot bat. Quintal now to the set. Runners on first and second. 2-0 the count. And the pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike one. And Quintal does have to be careful here in 75 at bats with runners on base. Cotton is hitting .307 on the season. He's defending a 3-0 lead right now. Quintal sets and deals the 2-1. Cotton shows bunt, sucks it back, and takes ball 3 low and away. Quintal and Lindsley trying to waste one over the outer half of the plate. And Quinn Cotton not biting on it. Birdman, as they call him. Ahead in the count, 3-1. Runners on first and second. And now the 3-1 pitch. Cut on and grounded over towards Taylor Garris. He underhands it over at second. Throws to Davis Wenzel for 1 at second. Relay throw to first. And they get Quinn Cotton for the 4-6-3 double play. The Twin Killing advances dash back to third base. But the Harbor Hawks get out of what could have been a serious jam there, getting 2 quick outs to bring this to 2 away in the bottom of the 4th inning before Christian Koss steps up to the plate.
Well, we talked about Quintal battling down, and that's exactly what he does right there. Gets some weak contact and infield grounder right to Taylor Garris, and just like that, 2 outs on the board.
That grounder almost eating Garris up. The first pitch. Cut on and popped up high in the air towards the right field line. It's in foul territory. Coming over to make a play, Rivera, and he's unable to get there before it dunks in just in front of him. 0-1 the count. Rivera trying to make an acrobatic catch to end a threat for the Harbor Hawks, trying to defend a shutout here. It's 3-0, Hyannis out front. But YD has their first run 90 feet away from scoring at third base in Andrew Dashbach. He reached with a leadoff hit. The 0-1. Called strike Christian Koss, and the Harbor Hawks are a strike away from defending the shutout. Joe Quintal coming in a major spot, coming up big for the Harbor Hawks. He's through 3 2/3 innings in a day that has been tough for the staff. The 0-2. Called a ball low and outside. Fastball misses the spot, and the count's 1-2. Plenty of pitchers have come and gone for the Harbor Hawks this year. They're looking to restack the bullpen and get ready for a playoff run. The 1-2. Cut on and grounded up the hole on the left side, through for a base hit. Dashbach scores easily. Christian Koss rounds first base. Relay throw in from Matthew Barefoot in left. And the Red Sox are on the board with 2 away in the bottom of the 4th. The score is 3-1. Hyannis still out front.
And just a kind of a CNI single there from Christian Koss, but that's one he needed. He was 2 for his last 20, and he just squeaks one through to plate a run, and now the deficit is at 2. And we know the Red Sox can come up with some contagious hitting, so we'll see how they respond to their first run of the day.
And Zach Zubia can sure just rip the ball out of the yard. Snap throw back over to first. And safely cross. 11 home runs for the Texas Longhorns this year out of Zubia. 22, in the Northwoods League last year, as the first pitch is cut on and golfed foul behind home. 0-1 the count. One run across the board here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Christian Koss driving him home with an RBI single with 2 away. Andrew Dashbach was the first man to get on base, and it looked like Hyannis was going to find its way out of a sticky situation. The 0-1. Called a ball lone inside. Nice block from Lindsley behind home. Floats the ball back out to his righty. Zuby is at the right side of the plate. But after that twin killing, where Doshbach advanced over to third base, Christian Koss found a gap on the left side and made the Harbor Hawks pay. The 1-1. Breaking ball for a called strike. Count now 1-2 on the home run hitter out of Austin. He's struck out 16 times on the season, but also has 3 round trippers. Throw over to first, and in safely is Koss. The righty Quintal keeping him honest, held on by Pedro Pages. Infield and outfield playing back, except for Pedro, who's on first base, covering the shortstop, who's over at first. The 1-2. Cut on and nicked high and foul behind home. Gets out of play. Count now 1-2. The sky's slowly getting darker over Red Wilson Field. You'll have to keep your eye on it here. There's no lights over Red Wilson Field, so there have been plenty of games called by darkness this season in Yarmouth-Dennis, including one between these two ball clubs early in the season. The 1-2. Cut on and a grounder over towards shortstop. Davis Wenzel fields it on a couple of hops, throws across the diamond, and makes the play for out number 3. On 3 hits, the Red Sox get 1 run, but get no more. 1 man left on base in Christian Koss. 3-1 the score, and now we go to the top of the 6th inning. Matthew Barefoot, Todd Lott, and Seth Gray due up, or the top of the 5th inning, excuse me. Still the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Harbor Hawks coming to the plate in just a few moments on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
We're back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, along with Lyle Goldstein. I'm Chris Lucey. 3-1 the score, Hyannis out front, and a new arm in the game for the Red Sox. Say goodbye to Madrigal and hello to Mitch Tyransky, 6'3", 220-pound junior out of Michigan State. He's coming from the left side, and Matthew Barefoot stepping up to the right side of the plate. Tyler Madrigal's day is done, and Tyransky, a 3-0 record in a 4.56 ERA and 23 2/3 innings pitched. His first pitch to Barefoot called a strike over the outer half, and his evening is underway. 2 innings pitched today for Madrigal. 1 run unearned, 1 strikeout, a walk, and 2 hits. Tyransky to the set and the 0-1. Cut on and sent high the other way down the right field line. It's in fair territory, and it dunks in just before the right fielder in Beasley for a base knock. Matthew Barefoot has his 2nd hit of the day to start off the top of the 5th inning. The Harbor Hawks in business from Yarmouth-Dennis.
Well, Barefoot, to his standards, we should say, has been struggling a little bit over the last couple of games, but you knew that wasn't going to last. 2 hits already today, pokes one the other way down the right field line, and picks up his 2nd hit of the day.
Todd Lott coming up to the plate, another guy who had his struggles this season, but has since gotten out of them. The 0-1. just in front of home plate. Nice stop from behind home by Freesia. 1-0 the count. Todd is 0 for 2 today, but with 6 for his last 13 at-bats coming into the game. Only 1 strikeout amongst all those, too. The 1-0. Called a strike over the outer half. A nice breaking ball from the lefty out of Michigan State. College teammates with Hyannis' own Mike Mockma. Infield playing at double play depth. Outfield a little bit back. Snap throw over to first base from the lefty Tyransky. Holds Matthew Barefoot on safely. Not a bad idea keeping him honest. He stole more than 30 bases for the Campbell Camels this year. Was mainly a leadoff hitter for Campbell, but he's just been driving in so many runs for the Harbor Hawks this year, they can't have him at the top of the order, the 1-1. Called a strike over the outer half, count 1-2. And Matthew will hit anywhere. He's preferred the middle of the lineup because he's been able to get more situational reps in there and also drive in more runs. And he's just such a steady presence. Hyannis can't help but just keep him in the middle of that lineup. The 1-2. Cut on and grounded right to the first baseman in Dashback. He throws on to second for 1. Relay right back to him at first. And they get Todd Lott. Call that a 3-6-3 double play. And there's 2 away here in the top of the 5th.
A nice job by Dashbach fielding that one a couple of steps to the left of the bag, right out in front of him. And he had the option to just go right back on first base, but he decided to make the snap throw to second, avoid any type of tag and get the force out. And quickly makes his way back to the bag for the 3-6-3.
Beautiful stretch as well on the final 6-3 portion of that. Seth Gray at the left side, the first pitch from the lefty. Ball low and away. Seth is 1 for 2. An RBI double in the first, and then a ground out in the top of the 4th. Still 3-1 the score. Hyannis leading the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox in game number 43 on the season. First of a home-and-home series, the 1-0. Called a ball low and away, count 2-0. YD with an edge in the series right now, 1-0-1. They beat Hyannis at McKeon Park on Independence Day, 7-2. But then the next day, the game was called to darkness, a 7-7 tie, the 2-0. Cut on in on the hands and served over towards shore. Christian Koss has to range in towards the dirt, throws across the diamond, and he gets Seth Gray by a step for out number 3 here in the top of the 5th inning. So Hyannis is able to muster a hit, but Matthew Barefoot is eliminated on the 3-6-3 double play, so nobody left on base, no errors, no runs come for Hyannis. Their lead remains 3-1 as now we go into the bottom of the 5th inning. Luke Waddell, Johnny DeLuca, and Brad Beasley due up for the Red Sox when we get back, and Lyle Goldstein takes over play-by-play duties here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
3-1 Hyannis the score as we enter the bottom half of the 5th inning. The 9-1-2 hitters due up for the YD Red Sox to face Joe Quintal, the right-hander out of Fordham University, back on the mound for inning number 5. So far today, he's allowed one run on 6 hits, and he has been mightily effective as of thus far. Left-handed hitter in Waddell takes a first pitch breaking ball for a called strike. Joe Quintal making his 2nd appearance of the summer and first start with the Harbor Hawks. Counters with a heater down low and away to even the count. Luke Waddell lined out to short in his first at bat. And here for plate appearance number 2. 1-1 offering, breaking ball low in the dirt. Picked out by Brady Lindsley. Joe Quintal working quickly from the right side. Kicks and fires the 2-1 offering. Fastball on the outer half for strike 2. Slight wind still blowing here in South Yarmouth. Infield back. Quintal ready, the 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Luke Waddell swings right over the top of that one, chasing an off-speed pitch out in the dirt for out number 1.
And to think that's only the second strikeout of the evening for Quintal, he has just been so effective for the Harbor Hawks and coming up in a big spot for them. As we mentioned earlier, there's been a lot of pitching losses for the Harbor Hawks this year. A couple of guys going home late in the season, and Quintal, a late season addition, just doing his best right now.
Set to face the top of the lineup for the 3rd time as Johnny DeLuca takes a first pitch breaking ball just inside. Playoffs coming up for the Harbor Hawks, currently sitting in 2nd place coming into today's ball game. Another breaking ball, this one over the outer half for a called strike. Wareham, 50 points on the summer. Hyannis with 49. Still in search of that first spot in the Western Division. Swing and a miss from DeLuca to pitch down in the dirt as the count moves to 1-2. Quintal working really effectively through the best team in the Cape. 1-2 with 1 out. Pitch on the way. Fastball upstairs as the count levels. 1 for 2 days so far for DeLuca. The Oregon Duck, 2 for 4 in last night's game. 2-2 from Quintal, misses low as the count moves to 3-2. 3-1 Harbor Hawks to score. Quintal gets his sign. Payoff pitch, swinging a ground ball foul on a breaking ball up the right field line. But Hyannis, as Chris mentioned, going to have to throw together some type of starting rotation in the first of a 3-game series in the first round of the playoffs. Quintal making his case. 3-2 offering, fastball high for ball 4. He loses Johnny DeLuca, who reaches base for the 2nd time today. First walk with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And that being said, Lyle, it's good that you get him for the first game of the YD series where you can check him out, and then added with the off day, you can get him on multiple days rest, maybe going into game 2 or game 3 scenario in that first playoff series.
And a lot of pitchers have exited the Cape for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Jeremy Randolph, of course, going home. Nick McDonald, more of the same. Those were 2 of their usual arms in the starting rotation for most of the season as Quintal throws over to the bag. Back safely is DeLuca with a dive. But we'll see how the staff fares in the playoffs. They still have Houston Roth and Zach Cohn. Quintal making a case. Ryan Pepio started most of the season at Butler. Quintal throws over again, and DeLuca back safely. But that'll be the question at hand for Harbor Hawk fans, is how they set up their pitching rotation going into the playoffs. YD's sitting pretty, on the other hand. A 12-point lead, already locked up the number 1 seat, as the hitter in Brad Beasley swings and fouls one up and out of play. 0-1 to the Cal Poly right fielder. He's 1 for 1 with a hit by pitch today. Wearing that face guard covering the left cheek like so many major leaguers do these days. Quinn Cotton also sports one of those for the Red Sox. 0-1 from Quintal, swinging a line drive foul down the left field line and into the bullpen. Brad Beasley's recorded multiple hits in 4 of his last 6 games. Man out of Cal Poly hitting .385 on the summer. DeLuca with a short lead at first. Pedro Page is holding him on. Seth Gray just behind the bag at third. 0-2 fastball misses just away for ball 1. Beasley looks down the third base line, takes a couple of signs, and now digs back into the box. Feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart as a pickoff to first by Quintal has DeLuca diving back safely again. One-two, the count to the hitter and Beasley. Breaking ball swung on and lifted into fairly deep left field. High towering pop-up. Settling under it is Matthew Barefoot, moving off and to his right. Makes the catch, and that'll be out number 2. DeLuca retreats back to first, and Joe Quintal's 1 out away from getting out of the bottom of the 5th.
And more importantly for Hyannis, getting himself into the 6th inning possibly to really carry the Harbor Hawks bullpen and give them a rest after a taxing last couple of days.
That'll bring up Noah Campbell, the best hitter on the Cape as of right now in terms of average. The Gamecock currently hitting .386, 0 for 2 so far today. Swinging from the left side as he takes a first pitch strike on a breaking ball. Campbell, a switch hitter, much like the leadoff hitter in Johnny DeLuca, who idles off of first. Being held on by Pages. Quintal from the stretch. The pitch to Campbell swung on and sent foul down the left field line and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. A Fordham right-hander looking for his 3rd strikeout. And another scoreless frame. Red Sox were held scoreless in the first 3 innings, but put up 1 in the 4th. Hyannis leads 3-1. The 0-2 pitch called. Strike 3 on the outside corner, and Joe Quintal gets out of the bottom of the 5th and records punch out number 3 of his outing. 3-1 Hyannis through 5 frames of play, and the top half of the 6th coming up in just a moment when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein.
Top half of the 6th just about to get underway here at Red Wilson Field. Hyannis Harbor Hawks leading by a score of 3-1. Pedro Page is set to lead things off, hitting in the number 6 spot for Hyannis tonight. And the left-hander in Taransky back on the mound for YD. First pitch to Pedro's a fastball in there for a strike. Pedro's 0 for 1 with a walk today, but scored back in the 4th inning. That was on a ground ball that Brady Lindsley hit on an error from the 3rd baseman in Waddell. Breaking ball is a called strike at the top of the zone. And the FAU catcher finds himself in an 0-2 count. Playing first base today is Pages. He's maneuvered around from both positions this summer. 0-2 on the way. Fastball runs away for ball 1. Still a slight wind here at McKeon Park. Page is in search of his first hit today. Hyannis so far with a total of 7. The pitch swinging a pop-up down the right field line, tailing foul and sailing out of play. Well, Hyannis, as we mentioned last inning, still a very, very viable opportunity to grab that first spot in the Western Division. 1 point back of the Wareham Gateman. Pitch to Pages, swinging a pop-up foul and out of play again. Wareham just about set to get underway with the Bourne Braves out at Spillane Field. Meanwhile, for Hyannis, they have by no means locked up the number 2 seed either. 1-2 to Pages is a fastball upstairs to even the count. Falmouth sits with 47 points and Katuitt with 46. So everybody fighting for playoff spots, although those 4 have been secured in the Western Division. 2-2 to Pages. Breaking ball swung on and hit high and deep down the right field line. Giving chase is the right fielder, and he can't get there. Fielded on a hop by Beasley. Pages coming into second, standing up. Throw is offline, and he's in there with a leadoff double to start the top of the 6th. Pages gave that one a ride, taking it the other way from the left-hander in Turansky. It chased Beasley all the way back to the wall, landed a couple of feet in front. Missing a home run by a few inches was Pages, but stands up at second base to start the top of the 6th. Now Eric Rivera, the hitter. Another FAU Al digs his way in, also from the right side. Pages stands at second. Noah Campbell playing way up the middle off to his right. The pitch into Rivera. Called strike with a fastball as it makes the count 0-1.
These two have been a good 1-2 punch today. Pages getting off the walk in the 4th and Rivera singling right after him. Pages would go on to score on an E5.
2 of them so far combined to reach base 4 times today. Now the pitch to Rivera, a breaking ball down in the dirt, chested up by Vito Freesia. Eric Rivera hitting .273 with runners on base this season. Hyannis leading 3-1 in the top of the 6th inning. Turansky from the stretch. Pitch into Rivera, breaking ball grounded back up the middle, fielded off to his right is Noah Campbell. High throw to first and a good stretch up by Dashbach to retire Eric Rivera for out number 1. Productive out as Pedro Pages moves down to third, and now Taylor Garris will dig in an RBI opportunity at hand.
Well, Garris has really made the most of his opportunities over the last couple of days, finding his kind of swing when he wasn't getting as much playing time, and since he's caught up to the velocity out here, he's started to have the offense come for him.
Garris is 3 for his last 5. First pitch from Mitchell Turansky is a called strike on a fastball. Taylor's been hit by a pitch in 3 of his last 4 games. Wasn't Bean last night, but in the previous 3 games, reached base every single night by a hit by pitch. Pages dancing over at third. Pitch to Garris, swinging a ground ball over to the shortstop. Koss fields it cleanly, throws across the diamond, and that's in time to retire Garris. Pages holds put at third, the infield playing in, as there's now 2 outs for the catcher and Brady Lindsley. So Garris putting the ball in play and on the ground, but to the left side where Pages currently stands. Christian Koss gave him a look and holding put at third. Lindsley, a left-handed hitter. 1 of 2 for the Harbor Hawks today, along with Seth Gray. He digs in with an 0 for 2 day. First pitch from Turansky, a breaking ball swung on and missed for strike 1. Lindsley looking to extend the lead to 3 runs. Harbor Hawks up by 2 after putting up a pair in the first and an additional run in the 4th. 0-1 from Turansky, breaking ball sent high and shallow into left field. Moving a couple of steps in is Quinn Cotton. He camps under it and squeezes it for the 3rd out. Harbor Hawks leave a man at third after a leadoff double from Pedro Pages, but still possess a 3-run lead after the top of the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th coming up in just a moment. Andrew Dashbach, Vito Freesia, and Quinn Cotton due up. 3-1 Hyannis a score, and we'll be back right after this on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Chris Lucey and Lyle Goldstein.
Three to 1 Harbor Hawks the score as we take you into the bottom of the sixth here at Merrill Red Wilson Field in South Yarmouth. Hyannis leading 3-1 over the Cape Cod League leading Whitey Red Sox, sitting at first place in the Eastern Division with 57 points. Joe Quintal back on the mound as Andrew Dashbach swings and fouls off the first pitch behind home. Manager Chad Gassman really riding his right-hander today, and he's had a really effective outing. 1 run through his first 5 innings, first start on the Cape League. He works from the windup, kicks and fires the 0-1 to Dashbach, swinging a high pop-up into shallow left field right off the infield. Moving back and over to his right is Davis Wenzel, settles under it and calls everybody off to make the grab for out number 1. Quick first out for Joe Quintal, continuing to roll through this YD Red Sox lineup. That'll bring up the new hitter in Vito Fresia, the catcher today, working behind the dish and plays his college ball at Hofstra in New York. First pitch from Quintal. Fastball in. 1 ball and no strikes. Joe Quintal threw 28 2/3 innings in his season out at Fordham. Another inside heater to move the count to 2-0. 3.14 ERA, and how about this? He only made 1 start in 16 appearances. And now the pitch to Fresia is a called strike to move the count to 2-1. So his second start since entering college is the right-hander in Quintal, and currently rolling through the best team in the Cape Cod League. As Vito Fresia swings and pops one high and foul on the right side, giving chase is Eric Rivera, and it sails out of play. Fresia let go by the YD Red Sox just under 3 weeks ago. But after an injury to Patrick Bailey, who was released by the YD Ball Club, they reclaimed Fresia. Currently hitting .333 at home as he swings and grounds one over to Davis Wenzel at short. Fields moving a step to his right, throws across the diamond to Pedro Pages, well in time for the second out. Wenzel staying busy in this inning, and the ball game for that matter, as he records the first 2 outs. And Joe Quintal just an out away from working through 6 innings against the YD Red Sox. Quinn Cotton, the new hitter. Product out of Grand Canyon University. Quintal's first pitch. Strike called right at the knees. Quinn Cotton hit .390 as a sophomore for the Grand Canyon Ball Club. Time is called as Cotton steps out of the box. Quintal gets his sign from Lindsley. Fires home a fastball and it misses just low. Cotton named the Western Athletic Conference MVP. So you don't see a whole load of whack players out here, but there's good reason for Cotton as he swings and sends a line drive into the gap in right center field. That's going to get down for extra bases, 1 hopping the wall. Quinton tearing around first, jogging into second. The throw is cut off, and he's in with a 2-out double in the bottom of the 6th. Quinn Cotton with his first hit of the day. He had grounded out into a double play in his last at bat, but turns on a pitch from Quintal, giving up his 7th hit of the day.
Yeah, he's batting .287 on the season, Lyle, and you just can't leave anything over the plate for a guy like that because he's just been on such a roll, not only from his college season, but out here on the Cape as well. It's just been a ride for his hitting all year long.
Chad Gassman walking out to the mound. Rest of the infield coming in, talking to his right-hander in Quintal. And it'll be intriguing to see if his day is done. Couple of the Hyannis players making their way out of the dugout as if they're looking ready to greet the right-hander in Quintal. Cotton over at second base, converging with the third base coach. As the home plate umpire and John Leeds making his way out to the mound, nobody jogging in from the bullpen yet. As Gassman contemplating some things over. And he's going to walk back to the mound and leave his right-hander in the ballgame. Joe Quintal has 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning, and he'll be left in to face the UC Irvine shortstop in Christian Koss.
Well, you can't argue with Chad Gassman there. I mean, his pitch count is up, yes, so you might not see much more from Quintal today, but of 90 pitches thrown today, 60 of them have been for strikes.
And not a guy that's been heavily taxed this summer or this season for that matter. After 28 2/3 inning, he's got 1 this summer. Koss swings at the first pitch and fouls it up and out of play. So Gassman looking to save some arms in the bullpen. Hyannis has used 6 different relievers in the last 2 days. Riley Self making appearances in the last 2 ball games, both against Bourne and Orleans. Quintal with an 0-1 count. Pitch to Koss, swing and a miss for strike 2. Quintal struck out 35 batters in 28 2/3 innings in his freshman year at Fordham. And now in search of strikeout number 4. 0-2 pitch, bounces in the dirt, hopping away from Brady Lindsley off to the right. Quinn Cotton trotting down to third, and he's now 90 feet away from plating Whitey's second run of the ball game. Time called as the ball boy will hand John Leeds, the home plate umpire, a couple of new baseballs. Joe Quintal getting a new ball from Lindsley. And he's looking to keep a 2-run lead for the Harbor Hawks. The last time these two teams squared up, right here at Red Wilson Field back on July the 5th, 7-7 tie at YD. 1-2 the count. Quintal from the stretch. The pitch in, swinging a line drive off his mitt and over to Davis Wenzel at short, charging in, bare-handed and can't make the play. Cotton scores from third. Over to first is Christian Koss with a 2-out single. But Joe Quintal taking one off the mitt, and it actually might have got him right on that right wrist or forearm area.
Yeah, it looks like that was his pitching hand that he was flexing after just taking an absolute liner.
He's squatting down on the mound, wincing a little bit and favoring that right arm. Gassman out to the mound. His time is called here. That'll be it for Quintal. Chad Gassman signaling to the bullpen. So he faces an additional hitter after the first mound meeting, but you got to tip your cap to the Fordham right-hander. 5 2/3 innings in his first start on the Cape. 2 earned runs, and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks still have a 1-run lead over the Cape Cod best YD Red Sox. We'll have a new reliever for you on hand when we return in just a moment on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Three-two Hyannis in the bottom of the sixth inning with 2 outs and a runner on first. New arm in for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, 6'3", 216-pound right-hander Kyle Kemp out of Lipscomb University. Set to face a pinch hitter in Zach Ashford, left-handed bat out of Fresno State. The right-hander's first offering is a fastball for a called strike. He comes in for Zach Zubia, who finishes his day at 0 for 2 and a 246 average. Kemp with the runner on first, takes off, the pitch to Ashford, swinging a fly ball out to shallow right field. Coming in is Eric Rivera. In his tracks, settles under it to make the catch for out number 3. Kyle Kemp throws 2 pitches in the bottom of the sixth inning and gets out of a mini jam to keep the score 3-2 Hyannis. That'll close the book on Joe Quintal, and we'll have that line and much more for you when we come back in the top of the 7th inning. Harbor Hawks leading 3-2.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Three-two Hyannis as we bring you back inside Red Wilson Field for the top of the 7th inning. Harbor Hawks sending up their leadoff hitters to the plate. Davis Wenzel, Tommy Jew, and Matthew Barefoot, the top third of the order. New arm on for the Whitey Red Sox. It's the right-hander in Sam Kessler out of West Virginia. Kessler coming on, the Mountaineer, making his 12th appearance, has so far thrown 17 in a third innings, 2.07 ERA, 5 walks to 19 strikeouts. Immediately working from the stretch. The first pitch to Davis Wenzel is a check swing and a called strike. Red Sox just staffing it today. 2 innings from their starter in Chandler Fidel, 2 from Ty Madrigal, and 2 from Mitch Turansky. And now the new arm in Sam Kessler fires in an off-speed pitch. It's a called strike right at the top of the zone. John Leeds puts Davis Wenzel at an 0-2 count. Davis 0 for 3 so far today. Kessler ready. The pitch on the way, fastball up high for ball 1. Wenzel comes into today hitting just .217 on the road. In search of his first hit, looking to extend the lead. Currently a 1-run lead for the Harbor Hawks. Pitch to Wenzel, swinging a high fly ball into fairly deep right field. Tracking back a couple of steps is Beasley. Settles under it and squeezes it for out number 1. Wenzel sat down for the first out, bringing up Tommy Jew. Tommy with 1 hit today, scored in the first. That coming on an RBI double from Seth Gray. Kessler back on the mound. Shoulders stretched out in front of his body. Now comes into the set belt high. The stretch in the first pitch to Tommy, swing and a miss, swinging right over the top of it for strike 1. Tommy spent a lot of the season in the bottom third of the order, but as of the last 10 games, he's found himself up in the number 2 spot. The next pitch, swinging a line drive into left field, dropping in front of Quinn Cotton for a base hit. Tommy Jew jogs around first, a slight turn, gives 1 head fake towards second, but retreats back to the bag, picking up his 2nd hit of the day. He's on at first with 1 out for Matthew Barefoot, the Campbell outfielder, set to face the right-hander in Kessler. Barefoot, after not recording a hit in the last 3 games he's appeared in, 2 for 3 so far today with a pair of singles. Kessler continuing to work from the stretch. First pitch to Barefoot, a fastball in the dirt. Keeping it in front of him is Vito Freesia. But Matthew Barefoot currently in a little bit of a race with Noah Campbell for the Cape League in average. Coming into this at bat, Barefoot sitting with a .378 clip. Meanwhile, Noah Campbell at .382. Tommy takes off, pitches in, throw down to second, tag applied by Campbell, and it is not in time. Tommy Jew sliding in safely head first. 11th stolen base of the year for the UC Santa Barbara outfielder as he's on at second base with 1 out. And Tommy is just so fast. I mean, it's not just his natural speed, but he gets such great jumps on every stolen base attempt he gives. He came into the day tied for 4th in the league in stolen bases. And this is coming from a kid who didn't even start his time on the Cape until about 3 weeks into the summer. School gets let out pretty late in California, but Jew has wasted no time in his season with the Harbor Hawks. Next pitch to Barefoot, a check swing, and he goes around for strike 2. Tommy sitting at second, now idling off with Noah Campbell playing up the middle. 1-2 the count. Kessler giving Barefoot a long stare down. Barefoot hitting .356 with runners in scoring position. The pitch, off speed outside for ball 2. Barefoot wiggles the bat a couple of times outside the batter's box. But a lot of speed possessed between these number 2 and 3 hitters. Tommy Jew with 11 stolen bags on the summer. Meanwhile, Matthew Barefoot swiped 33 bases in his season at Campbell. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A long stare down between the pitcher and the hitter in Barefoot. Time called again as Matthew steps out to take 2 practice swings. A cloudy day with a slight wind here in South Yarmouth. This game reaching the 1 hour and 1/2 mark. 6:31 p.m. the time. Stepping off the mound is the right-hander in Kessler, Tommy Jew, back to the bag. 3-2 Hyannis the score. Hyannis 9 hits compared to the Red Sox 8. Tommy Jew getting a lead at second. 2-2 from Kessler, swinging a pop-up from Barefoot, sailing foul, out of play on the first base side. Todd Lott awaiting on deck. Louisiana Lafayette designated hitter. Infield back. Outfield playing straight away. Barefoot in search of hit number 52 of his summer. Kessler gives Tommy Jew 2 looks over at second. Now comes home with the 2-2. Fastball inside for ball 3. Barefoot came into today second in the Cape in average with a 371 average. Second in hits with 49. Second in on base. And second in hit by pitches with 10. Sitting in a 3-2 count, wiggling that bat just above his right shoulder. Payoff pitch, swinging a high pop-up on the infield. Kessler moving off to his right. Calling him off is the first baseman, Andrew Dashbach, who settles under it and makes the grab on the infield grass for the second out. Tommy stays put at second base, and Todd Lott will dig in from the right side with 2 outs and 1 on. Todd Lott, in last night's ballgame, went 2 for 3 with a double, and that extended his home game hitting streak to 17. The road's been a little bit of a different story for Todd, though, although he does have 3 home runs. 2 coming at Eldridge Park in Orleans and 1 at Lowell against Catuit. First pitch is an off-speed for a called strike. Todd today is hitless with a strikeout, a line out to short, and a 3-6-3 double play. But he's got a chance to extend the lead with a runner on second and 2 outs. The stretch in the 0-1 from Kessler. Breaking ball misses away. Lott adjusts 1 batting glove. Redoing the Velcro. Puts his left hand to the barrel of the bat. 1 to the helmet, and now getting back into his stance. Feet shoulder width apart. Kessler from the stretch, the pitch to Lott, swinging a line drive into left field for a base hit. Tommy Jew tearing around third, coming home with no throw. Cut off into second base, and Todd Lott picks up RBI number 21 of his season. 4-2 Hyannis the score in the top of the 7th here at Red Wilson Field. Lott on at first. First hit of the ball game, the 10th for the Harbor Hawks team. And Todd Lott continuing to stay clutch night after night. In a game where the Harbor Hawks sit 1 point behind the Wareham Gatemen, they now have a 4-2 lead over the best team in the Cape in the Red Sox. As Lott takes off for second, the ball gets away from the catcher in Freesia. Lott now tearing toward third. The throw in is not in time. Lott standing up at third, and with 1 pitch, he moves 180 feet closer to home plate. From first to third on a stolen base and a wild pitch from Sam Kessler. Now has Lott 90 feet from scoring. Just a minute ago, it was 3-2 Red Sox, or 3-2 Harbor Hawks. Now Hyannis looking to extend the lead to 3 runs. Pitch to Seth Gray, misses outside for ball 2. Seth Gray today. RBI double in the first, but has since grounded out twice. Hitting from the left side. The stretch and the pitch from Kessler in the dirt and away for ball 3. Todd Lott standing at third. Seth Gray on the summer. Hitting just 190 with runners in scoring position, but looking to put that up with an uptick as the next pitch is high and outside for ball 4. Seth Gray draws a 2-out walk to put runners on the corners. He's on at first. Lott still standing at third. and Pedro Page is the hitter due up for Hyannis. Pedro's reached base twice today. Came up with an opposite field double in his last at bat in the 6th. 4-2 Hyannis the score as Pedro adjusts one batting glove and making his way into the box. First time seeing the right-hander in Sam Kessler. Dashbach holding on Seth Gray at first. Rest of the infield back with 2 outs. Pages takes a first pitch on an off speed for a called strike. Pedro Pages comes into the day hitting just .212 against right-handed pitchers. Has done most of his damage this season against southpaws with a .393 clip. Seth Gray takes off way early. The pitch in, up high, and no throw. No chance to get Seth Gray. A fantastic jump from the Wright State Raider. Moves down to second base. Runners in scoring position. Lott at third. Gray at second with 2 outs for Pedro Pages. Pedro in search of RBIs, 18 and 19 on his summer. The 1-1 misses inside for ball 2. All but 2 Harbor Hawks have recorded hits today, with the exceptions of Brady Lindsley and Davis Wenzel. Page is in search of hit number 2. 4-2 Hyannis the score. The 2-1 on the way, fastball high. 3 balls and 1 strike. Harbor Hawks come into the day just 6th in the league in runs scored. Kessler to the set from the stretch. 3-1 to Pages. Misses down low for ball 4, and the FAU first baseman draws a 2-out walk. That'll load the bases for Eric Rivera in the top of the 7th inning with 2 outs. Rivera finds himself in a huge RBI opportunity. A ball into the gap could break this thing wide open for Hyannis. Rivera has hits in 7 of his last 9 games. 2 singles so far today, along with a ground out to second. Kessler working from the stretch. First pitch to Rivera, taken for a strike, and 0-1 is the count. Kessler, after retiring 2 of the first 3 hitters of the inning, has allowed an RBI single to Todd Lott and then back-to-back walks to Seth Gray and Pedro Pages. 0-1. The pitch into Rivera, swinging a line drive up the middle and through for a base hit. Lott scores. Coming around third is Seth Gray. The throw is cut off, and he scores standing up. Eric Rivera comes through with a 2-out, 2 RBI single, and the Harbor Hawks now lead by a score of 6-2 here in the 7th. Eric Rivera picks up hit number 24 of the summer and RBIs 12 and 13. The FAU Owl stands at first as his college teammate Pedro Pages moves on to second. That brings up Taylor Garris with 2 on and 2 out. It'll be the Samford second baseman's first time seeing the West Virginia Mountaineer in Kessler. Righty-righty matchup. Kessler from the stretch. The pitch to Garris way outside. Fielded on a backhand by Vito Fresia for ball 1. Having to make a backhand stab to prevent further advancement from either of the Owls on base in Pages or Rivera. 2 outs, 2 on, 6-2 the score. The pitch in. Swing and a miss for strike 1, and the count levels. Well, as we mentioned a minute ago, Hyannis coming into the day 6th in runs scored. Meanwhile, the Whitey Red Sox tied for first in the league in runs with 225 starting today's contest. 1-1 into Garris. Hits him right on the back for a hit-by pitch, and Taylor Garris will trot down to first as he's now been hit by pitches in 4 of his last 5 games. Rivera trots down to second. Pages moves to third, and Brady Lindsley will also have an RBI opportunity. Bases juice, still 2 men out. Vito Fresia walks out to the mound to try and calm down the right-hander in Sam Kessler. And now it looks like the manager and Scott Pickler will do a slow walk out to the mound. A left-hander warming in the Whitey bullpen. And this could be the day for Sam Kessler. Came in the 7th inning with Hyannis winning by a score of 3-2. But a trio of runs have so far been played in this top half of the 7th frame. And it's a 4-run lead for the Harbor Hawks. Kessler's day ends right there. 2 outs and the bases loaded in the top of the 7th inning. Hyannis leading 6-2. We'll have a new reliever for you when we come back in just a minute on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
We bring you back inside Red Wilson Field in the top of the 7th inning. Hyannis has so far plated 3 runs in the top of the 7th frame and lead by a score of 6-2. New reliever in for the Whitey Red Sox, and it's the left-handed reliever in Braden Fink out of the University of Oklahoma. The left-hander is set to face Brady Lindsley, a left-handed hitter who also plays his college ball for the Sooners out in Norman. So a couple of college teammates going at it right here. Left-hander and Fink from the stretch sets at the belt. Pitch to Lindsley, a fastball for a called strike. Brady Lindsley, a catcher for Oklahoma. So he has caught a lot of these outings from the left-hander and Fink. The stretch and the 0-1 on the way. Fastball down to level the count. Sam Kessler's night is done after 2/3 innings pitched. Gave up 3 hits, 2 walks, no strikeouts. So far, 3 earned runs, but he is responsible for all 3 runners on base. Fink gets his sign. Pitch into Brady Lindsley. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count moves to 1-2. Pages is on at third after reaching by a walk. Rivera came through with the 2 RBI single. He stands at second. And Taylor Garris over at first after being plunked on the back from Sam Kessler. That was the last batter he faced. 1-2 with 2 outs. Pitch into Lindsley. Swing and a miss for strike 3. And Braden Fink wins that battle against his college teammate and gets the Whitey Red Sox out of a bases-loaded jam in the top of the 7th. Harbor Hawks plate 3 runs and extend their lead to 4. 6-2 through 6.5 frames. And we'll be back right after this on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Bottom half of the seventh here at Red Wilson Field, a 6-2 lead for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Kyle Kemp back on the mound, finished the final out of the sixth inning against the Red Sox club. Threw just 2 pitches and now back on the mound. Set to face Luke Waddell, the number 9 hitter in the order. A wind-up in the first pitch from Kemp. Fastball for a strike on the outside corner. Joe Quintal's day ends with 5 2/3 innings pitched, gave up 2 runs on 8 hits, 1 walk, and struck out 3. A 1 from Kemp, spikes a fastball in the dirt, gets away from Lindsley as the count moves to 1-1. Waddell so far today, 0 for 2, a line out and a strikeout. Kemp kicks and fires the 1-1, and it misses outside for the second ball. The Harbor Hawks so far today, 2 runs in the first, 1 in the fourth, and 3 in the seventh, as the next pitch is swung on and popped foul up and out of play. Whitey, on the other hand, were scoreless in the first 3 frames, 1 run pushed across in the fourth, and an additional in the bottom of the sixth. And that's where we currently stand, 6-2 Hyannis. Kemp, the 2-2 on the way, swing and a miss up and out of the zone for strike 3. Luke Waddell chases a fastball from Kyle Kemp, who records his first strikeout of the night, and there's 1 down in the bottom of the 7th. That turns the lineup over as Johnny DeLuca digs in. It'll be the Oregon Ducks' 4th plate appearance today, and the first time seeing Kyle Kemp. The Lipscomb righty gets his sign, kicks and deals, and it runs away for ball 1. Still wind blowing out here at Red Wilson Field. Kemp gets the sign, fires in another fastball, and it misses away. This game with an early start time here, as no lights are above at Red Wilson Field, one of 3 Cape League ballparks without lights. 2-0 fastball misses up and away for ball 3. Lowell Park in Katuitt, no lights either, as well as Stony Brook Field in Brewster. Kyle Kemp working from the right side and in the windup. Takes a deep breath, rocks and fires the 3-0, and it's another heater missing up and outside for ball 4. Johnny DeLuca draws a 1-out walk in the bottom of the 7th, and that'll bring up Brad Beasley, the Cal Poly right fielder. Beasley, 1 for 2 today with a hit by pitch. He represents one of 6 right-handed bats in the order today. As Kemp works from the stretch, the first pitch is a breaking ball missing low and away. It was 6 right-handed batters to begin the ball game, but now it's reduced to 5 after Zach Zubia was replaced by Zach Ashford, a left-handed hitter. 1-0, 1 on with 1 out. Pitch from Kemp, fastball grounded over to Seth Gray, moving to his left. Fields it cleanly, shovels to second for 1, relay to first, not in time. And a 5-4 fielder's choice recorded by the hitter in Brad Beasley to put 2 outs on the board and still a man at first. So Seth Gray, making a nice play, moving to his left, decided to backhand shovel it all the way to second base. A long toss, luckily getting there in time. And then Taylor Garris trying to make a quick transfer to first, but the speed of Beasley being it out down the line. Now Noah Campbell digs in. Campbell sports the highest average on the Cape, 382 clip. Came into the day hitting 393, but is so far 0 for 3. Takes a first pitch breaking ball for a called strike. Campbell, a left-handed hitter today, with the right-handers in Quintal and Kemp pitching so far. But Noah can hit from both sides. Swings and lines one foul out of play on the left side. 0-2 the count. Kyle Kemp allowed a walk to Johnny DeLuca, but so far a clean inning. Aside from that, strikeout to Waddell and a fielder's choice from Seth Gray to Taylor Garris. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Kemp from the stretch. The pitch in. Breaking ball swung on and missed for strike 3. Kyle Kemp gets out of the bottom of the 7th and keeps a 6-2 lead on hand for the Harbor Hawks. Hyannis coming up in the top of the 8th with a 4-run advantage when we come back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Harbor Hawks sending up their top of the order in the top of the 8th inning with a 6-2 lead. Davis Wenzel digging into the right side of the box, and Braden Fink back out on the mound for the Whitey Red Sox. Left-hander out of the University of Oklahoma came on to get the final out in the top of the 7th against his college catcher in Brady Lindsley. Lefty-righty matchup. Fink from the stretch. First pitch to Wenzel, swung on and popped right up on the infield to the right side. Andrew Dashbach giving it a look, being called off by Noah Campbell, moving way to his left, settles under it and puts it away for the first out. Braden Fink records a quick first out in the top of the 8th, as Davis Wenzel is now 0 for 5 today. Been a tough day for the Baylor Bear, but not to take anything away from his season. 20-plus walks, tied for second on the Cape in extra base hits with 16. But now the hitter's Tommy Jew out of UC Santa Barbara. Wiggles that bat behind his right shoulder and takes a first pitch fastball for strike 1. Braden Fink not giving quite a Craig Kimbrell impersonation or replication with his delivery, as the next pitch is another fastball for a called strike, but bends both his knees all the way down and hangs that left arm and the ball right above his shoe tops. Glove tucked in to his right arm. 0-2 count to Tommy Jew with 1 out. The stretch and the 0-2 offering from Fink, a breaking ball lined into left field. Coming on is Quinn Cotton, and he races to make the catch for the second out. Tommy Jew hits it right on the screws, but Quinn Cotton taking a good beat, closing speed, and makes the catch on the run.
Yeah, Tommy's barreled up a couple of good pitches today, but Cotton with just a great line to the baseball. Seemed like he was playing a little bit in on Jew anyway, and then got a good running start, met the ball in midair, made a nice grab.
Quinn Cotton deprived Tommy of his third hit of the day. Now Matthew Barefoot digs in search of his third hit. Takes the first pitch down low for ball 1. Infield back. A couple of raindrops falling here at Red Wilson. Fink from the stretch. Pitch to Barefoot. Fastball down again. 2-0 the count to the Campbell outfielder. Noah Campbell's average currently sits at 379. Barefoot in the meantime, 375. Those two the top hitters on the Cape. 2-0 into Barefoot. Swinging a foul off his foot inside the box. Squiggling down the third base line, and now Barefoot trying to walk it off in a little bit of pain outside the box. Favoring that right leg a little bit as the count moves to 2-1. But these Harbor Hawks and Red Sox will square off again in the final game of the regular season tomorrow. And Barefoot and Campbell will be going neck and neck for the crown title of the Cape League average. Barefoot had it almost all of the season, was in a big battle with Austin Shenton for a lot of the time. Shenton's average has dipped off a little bit, although still having a magnificent summer. The Campbell's 0 for 4 today has sure helped out Barefoot, who's still in some pain outside the batter's box as the trainer will come out. Harbor Hawks winning by 4 runs as we speak. And it's been interesting for YD. For a team that on paper is the best offensive team in the Cape as well as the best team on the islands. Of course, you can make the argument about the Chatham Anglers, Wareham Gatemen, or Falmouth Commodores to name a few of the offenses on paper. When you look right at the stats, everything points to YD. First in hits coming into today with 399. Their team on bases first in the league at a whopping 376. Team 285 average, that's first in the league. And they were tied for first in runs scored with the Gatemen, 225. This YD ball club, top to bottom, is loaded with talent, arms, and bats. But currently trailed by 4 runs in the 8th as Barefoot swings and sends a line drive into the gap in left center field, getting down for a base hit. Quinn Cotton fields it on a hop as Matthew Barefoot, hobbling around first, gets in, gives a fist bump to his head coach in Bobby Melly, and picks up his 3rd hit of the ball game. This kid is tough, to say the least.
Absolutely. Countering talent with talent as well. Matthew Barefoot has shown the entire country exactly what he can do and exactly what he's been doing for the Campbell University Camels over the last couple of seasons. I mean, a 364 hitter for the Camels this year. He has just been non-stop solid.
Todd Lott digs in and takes the first pitch down low for a ball. And if you continue to do some scoreboard watching, Barefoot's average now rises to 380, just 1/100 of a point ahead of Noah Campbell as we speak. The lefty checks Barefoot at first. The pitch, a lot of breaking ball, cut through and missed for strike 1. Todd recorded his first hit just an inning ago in the 7th with an RBI single. That was the second of 3 runs in the 7th inning when the Harbor Hawks put up a trio. Barefoot on first, the 1-1 pitch to Lott, swing and a miss, through an off-speed pitch again. Braden Fink finds himself in a 1-2 count. On the season, Fink's posting a 2.17 ERA coming into this contest. 20 2/3 innings pitched, making his 13th appearance. Struck out 26 batters. Todd Lott steps out of the box to readjust his batting gloves. Fink off the mound. Fink saved 7 games for Oklahoma this season. As he comes set, checks on Barefoot. 1-2 to Lott, swinging a ground ball over to the second baseman and Campbell. Makes 2 steps to his left, fields it out in front, and throws over to first for the final out of the 8th. A Matthew Barefoot single goes no further as the Harbor Hawks can't push across anything in the 8th, but a 6-2 lead still in favor of Hyannis through 7.5 frames. We'll be back for the bottom of the 8th inning. When we come back after this, due up for the Red Sox, Andrew Dashbach, Vito Freesia, and Quinn Cotton when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Andrew Dashbach, the Stanford first baseman, set to lead things off for the YD Red Sox in the bottom of the 8th inning as Kyle Kemp's back out on the mound, has so far thrown an inning and a third today. Right-hander came in for Joe Quintal, making his first start of the summer with Hyannis. It was his second appearance. But Kemp now set from the windup. First pitch to Dashbach, swinging a line drive foul down the third base line and into the crowd. Andrew Dashbach today, 1 hit and 3 tries. Hits .290 against right-handed pitching. This is Kemp's 13th appearance with the Harbor Hawks this summer. As he kicks and fires the 0-1, a fastball right at the knees for strike 2. Dashbach watches it go by and finds himself behind in the count. Kyle Kemp started his season with the Cotuit Kettleers, but was released and quickly picked up by the Hyannis Ball Club. 0-2 breaking ball popped up on the infield and behind home plate. Brady Lindsley throws off the mask, gives a couple of steps back, and settles under it to make the grab for out number 1. Andrew Dashbach retired for the 3rd time tonight, and Kyle Kemp records the first out of the 8th.
Yeah, Dashbach has a lot to live up to out here on the Cape. He led Stanford with homers this year, but his Stanford teammate Kyle Stowers has really been the one to steal the show on the island this season.
Kemp now set to face Vito Freesia, the hitter. From the windup, the first pitch, checks his swing, but a ball upstairs. Well, Dashbach hasn't been too overshadowed, as he came into today tied with Davis Wenzel for second in extra base hits with 16, as Kemp's fastball misses low and away. But his Stanford teammate in Kyle Stowers leads the league with 20. Stowers putting up a tremendous season with the Falmouth Commodores. Kemp's 2-0 pitch is a fastball up and inside, brushing the hitter and Freesia off the plate for ball 3. Well, Stowers Ball Club and the Falmouth Commodores currently leading 4-2 over Kemp's former club in the Cotuit Kettleers. That one currently in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3-0 from Kemp. Misses down low, a 4-pitch walk to Vito Freesia with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. The Hofstra catcher reaches base for the 3rd time today, records his first walk, and it'll bring up Quinn Cotton, the GCU outfielder. Kemp will now work from the stretch, but Harbor Hawks fans will have close eyes on that Cotuit Falmouth game going on at Gov Fuller Field. Kemp the stretch. Pitch to Quinn Cotton, a breaking ball down and outside. But with a Cotuit loss tonight, they would be out of contention for home field advantage going into the final day of the regular season. But if things stay put and Hyannis and Falmouth both pick up wins, they'll be in a dogfight for the final spot for home field. Breaking ball from Kemp misses away for ball 2. Hyannis currently with 49 points, Falmouth with 47. As a quick refresher, any win out here in Cape Cod picks a team up 2 points. A tie is 1. Kemp from the set. The pitch into Cotton, swinging a line drive into the gap in right center field. Backtracking is Rivera in his tracks and settles under it to make the grab. Rivera playing way off to his right and toward the right center field gap, where Quinn Cotton already hit a ball today. And this time Rivera ready for it to put it away. That brings up Kristen Koss out of UC Irvine. Right-handed hitter, has 2 hits today. Also popped out to third. But going back to what I was saying, if Falmouth and Hyannis both pick up wins, Falmouth will move to 49 points and Hyannis to 51. Kemp's first pitch to Koss is a breaking ball for a strike at the top of the zone. And Falmouth would have the tiebreaker over Hyannis, as the Commodores won that series 4-2 this season, along with having a much, much higher run differential. Plus 49 for the Commodores, minus 27 for Hyannis. Koss swings at a breaking ball and sends one out to Davis Wenzel. Moves a step to his right and flips it short way to Taylor Garris at second for out number 3. Kyle Kemp works 2 1/3 scoreless innings here in relief for the Harbor Hawks, and they still lead 6-2 through 8 innings. Top of the 9th coming up right after this. Due up Seth Gray, Pedro Pages, and Eric Rivera when we come back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Hyannis sending up their 5, 6, 7 hitters in the top of the 9th inning against Braden Fink, the left-hander out of Oklahoma, with Hyannis still sporting a 4-run lead, 6-2 through 8 innings. Seth Gray, one of 2 lefties in the Hyannis order, digging in for plate appearance number 5. He's so far 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. The left-hander in Fink from the stretch. First pitch to Seth Gray, a swing and a miss right over the top of it for strike 1. One defensive change for the Whitey Red Sox as Arizona catcher Matt Dyer takes over for Vito Freesia behind the dish. Fink gets his sign from the Wildcat catcher. Gray swings and sends a ground ball to the right side, backhanded by Andrew Dashbach. Flip to Fink, covering the bag at first, and it's in time on the run to retire Seth Gray. Quick out to start the top of the 9th for Braden Fink as it'll bring up FAU first baseman Pedro Pages. Pages has reached base 3 times so far. And it'll be his 2nd time around seeing the left-hander in Fink. Still a slight wind here at Red Wilson Field. Infield playing back with 1 out. First pitch to Pages. Swung on and popped foul up and out of play over the first base dugout. Rather, this is Pages' first time seeing the southpaw Braden Fink from Oklahoma. Fink started his day as he struck out Brady Lindsley in the 7th, faced 4 batters in the 8th, and so far a ground out to start the 9th. 0-1 count to Pages, feet set just over shoulder width apart. watches a breaking ball miss inside to level the count. Eric Rivera waits on deck. Pages hitting .256 on the summer. Pitch from Fink, fastball up and away. Pages in a season at Florida Atlantic sported a .309 average with 4 long balls, and he was named to the Johnny Bench Award watch list given to the nation's top catcher. 2-1 offering, fastball in there for strike 2. 4 home runs in his college season out in Boca Raton, and 3 home runs on the summer here for the Harbor Hawks. Fink hanging that left arm just about 6 inches above the mound. Pages calls time and steps out.
Taking a little bit too long with that distraction tactic there, but if it doesn't distract you on the mound and it gets in hitters' heads, you really can't argue with it.
Now Fink ready. 2-2 to Pages, misses down and away for ball 3.
I mean, relievers are an eclectic breed. You can see it on the Harbor Hawks, for example, the bullpen full of guys that have almost a little bit too much fun sometimes during the ball games.
Pages finds himself in a full count. 1 out, nobody on base. The stretch from Fink. Roxon fires the payoff pitch, swinging a line drive back up the middle and into center field. Pedro Pages is on with his second hit of the ball game and picks up a 1-out single in the 9th.
Nice piece right there from Pedro. Just the ball was left a little bit over the plate and elevated from Fink, and Pedro made him pay.
Pedro's had a nice ball game, reaching base in his last 4 at-bats after a strikeout in the first. Now his college teammate and Eric Rivera digs in, hitting in the number 7 spot today. Eric calls time and steps out of the box. As we mentioned, Pages struck out in the first, but Eric Rivera no strikeouts today and has only punched out 10 times all season as he takes a first pitch strike. So Rivera sports a .253 average on the season. That moving upwards after 3 hits so far today, but does a really good job always putting the ball in play and trying to make productive at-bats. Fastball at the knees is a called strike, and the count moves to 0-2. Rivera, 3 singles on the day, along with 2 RBIs. Both of those runs batted in coming in the 7th. Pages a short lead at first. The pitch from Fink in the dirt, skips away from Matt Dyer. Pedro Pages cruising down to second, takes a slight turn and will stop there. And Eric Rivera now has an RBI opportunity with a runner in scoring position.
There's a large backstop here at YD, and it's all grass and pretty lush grass, very tall as well, so the ball really dies out in it.
Rivera stepped out of the box, adjusted his jersey a little bit, and now dig back in, waves his bat at the pitcher a couple of times. 1-2, the pitch from Fink. Fastball waved at for strike 3. A weak swing by Eric Rivera for out number 2 as he's punched out for the first time tonight and 11th time this season.
Second baseman from Samford.
That makes it 2 outs for Taylor Garris. Fink records his second strikeout so far today. Time currently called. Fink stepped off the mound to reset. Garris more of the same out of the box. Fink sets just above the belt. Pages a short lead with no hold. Pitch to Garris is up and outside for ball 1. Taylor Garris was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. That making it 4 times in 5 games. He's been a hit machine over the last handful of contests. 1-0 from Fink. Taken for a strike to even the count.
Machine or magnet, because the baseball just seems to keep finding him.
He keeps finding ways to get on base, much like today. Has reached twice along with a single back in the 4th. Fink a long look over at Pages at second. 1-1 delivery, swing and a miss by Garris for strike 2. Harbor Hawks still leading 6-2 here at Red Wilson Field. Have put together 13 hits compared to YD's 8. Taylor Garris in search of RBI number 4 of his summer with Pages at second. 1-2 offering a called strike 3 on the inside corner, and Taylor Garris is gone looking for out number 3. Fink records strikeout number 3 of his outing, and that'll do it for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the eighth, or top of the ninth, we should say. But they still lead 6-2, a 4-run advantage over the YD Red Sox. Red Sox will have their last chance on offense when we come back. Due up for the first place Eastern Division team, Zach Ashford, Luke Waddell, and Johnny DeLuca when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
Copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
No save situation here in the bottom of the ninth, but Chad Gassman opts to bring in his right-handed closer in Dylan Thomas out of the University of Hawaii. Thomas on the season making appearance number 17, posting a 3-0 record, 1.24 ERA in 21 2/3 innings pitched, 2 walks to 32 punch-outs, as he's set to face Zach Ashford, the number 8 hitter in the order. Ashford hitting from the left side. Pinch hitting for Zach Zubia back in the 6th. Man out of Fresno State will see Thomas for the first time today. Right-hander kicks and deals the first pitch, a called strike on the outer half. Dylan Thomas this season has only allowed 3 total earned runs. As he wheels and fires the second pitch, swinging a ground ball to the left side, Davis Wenzel charging in, fields it forehand side, throw across, and it's not in time. Ashford beats it out. Leadoff infield single for the Fresno State outfielder in Zach Ashford to get things going in the bottom of the ninth.
I mean, what do you expect out of the man from Fresno State? A 3.06 average on the season. Scott Pickler thought he could get him a day off today. He's played in 39 games for the YD Red Sox this season, but just not the case. They needed him today, and they needed a hit to lead off this inning, too. They got that right there. A nice piece from Ashford, beating it out down the first base line.
And now YD head coach Scott Pickler starting to send all of his usual reinforcements into the ballgame in hopes of some sort of comeback, as Nick Quintana, the Arizona third baseman, digs in to face Dylan Thomas. Right-hander from the stretch. First pitch, a swing and a miss through an off-speed pitch for strike 1. As we were mentioning, Thomas has only allowed 3 earned runs on the season, 2 of them coming against the Commodores, 1 on opening night at home, the other at Falmouth on July the 24th. But the other one, right on that mound at Red Wilson Field back on July the 5th. 0-1 to Quintana, swing and a miss, swings right over the top of the same pitch from Thomas to move the count to 0-2. But that was back in a 7-7 tie the last time these two teams played. They brought in Thomas in the 8th, as it was the last inning the two teams went up against. Technical save opportunity, but a double to the man at first. Zach Ashford tied the game and ended things after 8. 0-2 to Quintana. Called strike 3 right at the top of the zone. The Wildcat punches out for out number 1 of the inning, and Dylan Thomas records strikeout number 33 of the season.
I mean, how do you think he was going to respond to a leadoff single, honestly? Dylan Thomas has been one of the most filthy pitchers on the island this season, and he came right back to what he's been doing all season long, a nice breaking ball to freeze up Quintana.
Now he's set to face the top of the order, and Johnny DeLuca, left-handed hitter, watches a pitch in the dirt, blocked by Brady Lindsley, and no advancement from Ashford. It's pretty unbelievable the success Dylan Thomas has had. And not to say it wasn't somewhat expected, as he came off a phenomenal year at the University of Hawaii, where he posted a 1.85 ERA with 14 saves, as the next pitch is a called strike to level the count. 26 appearances, a 200 batting average against for Thomas at Hawaii, and was named to the National College Baseball Writers Stopper of the Year Award watch list. 1-1 is swung on and missed for strike 2 by DeLuca. 1-2 with 1 out. But getting back to Thomas, for a guy that doesn't throw with a lot of high velocity, the fastball that honestly just sits in the upper 80s has been the most effective closer on the Cape. Now the 1-2. Swing and a pop-up into foul ground in short left field. Backtracking is Seth Gray off to his left. Makes the catch over the head for out number 2. Seth Gray having to cover a little bit of ground out there, but took a perfect beat, turning his shoulder and makes a nice catch as Johnny DeLuca's retired for the second time tonight.
Nice play right there from Seth Gray. For a guy his size, coming in 6'4", around 220 pounds, he moves exceptionally well, which really makes him a prototypical third baseman and also very projectable to the next level.
Whitey has a man on with 2 outs. They've left 1 runner on base in each of the first 8 frames. Final hope for the Red Sox is Brad Beasley, who cuts right through that first pitch for strike 1. But Dylan Thomas, an uncharacteristic guy with swing and miss stuff, but has done it better than anybody this summer. His 9 saves lead the Cape. His counterpart in Ryan Nelson for YD, 3rd in the league with 6. The next pitch is a fastball down and away. So those two combining for 15 saves and top 3 in the league. Aaron Oceanbine of Orleans sits at 2nd place. 1-1 the count. 1 on with the infield back. 1-1 offering from Thomas. A called strike at the top of the zone. Thomas 1 strike away from picking up win number 24 of the season for the Harbor Hawks. He stares down Brady Lindsley. Checks the runner at first. The stretch and the 1-2 offering. Just outside for ball 2 as the count moves even. The infield playing back. Hyannis leading 6-2. Thomas ready. The stretch and the 2-2 offering. Popped up into short right field. Eric Rivera has it in his tracks. Takes a couple steps in and squeezes it for the final out of the ball game. Harbor Hawks win 6-2 here at Red Wilson Field and even the season series at 1-1-1 with the Cape Cod best Whitey Red Sox. Harbor Hawks pick up win number 24 and move to 51 points on the summer.
And people have been asking all season long, how is it that the Harbor Hawks have been able to string this together with one of the worst run differentials in the Cape? And it's plain and simple. This team just battles back from adversity. I mean, Joe Quintal came in seemingly out of nowhere today to provide a big respite for the Harbor Hawks bullpen. His 5 1/3 innings pitched really came in clutch. 5 2/3, excuse me, came in clutch for the Harbor Hawks. And then Kyle Kemp also bridging the gap nicely to Dylan Thomas, as we saw here, going straight from the starter to middleman to the door closer in Dylan Thomas, who has just done nothing but impress all summer long.
Hyannis picks up a 6-2 win and now moves to 17-0 when leading after 7 innings this season. That'll do it for us here on the call, but Robert Marcello will have the postgame for you in just a minute. One more time, 6-2, the final score between the Harbor Hawks and the Red Sox. These guys will be back in action tomorrow at McKeon Park. for the final game of the regular season. We'll take you back in just a minute. Here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome everyone back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Robert Marcello. Harbor Hawks win tonight 6-2, a big win on the road here against probably the best team in the league in the YD Red Sox. A final in Brewster. They're able to win 11-8. In the bottom of the fifth, the Falmouth Commodores currently beating the Katuitt Kettleers 5-2. In the bottom of the third, the Wareham Gatemen are up 2-0 against the Bourne Braves. And in the bottom of the first, the Orleans Firebirds are already up on the Chatham Anglers 3-1. That's going to do it all here on a quick post-game show. Tomorrow will be the season finale from McKeon Park, and then the playoffs will ensue for both teams. We'll see you all tomorrow.